Okay, so Yoonhyuk is straight up floating, radiating power like a golden god, and everyone's losing their minds. He's descending into this crazy blue digital city, and a character summary pops up. It's Nirvana Mobius. Nirvana is labeled reincarnated, which is huge, and someone shouts Yoonhyuk's name like it's an emergency. This ornate golden pattern appears, and it's basically saying Nirvana is the key to surviving the apocalypse, no pressure. They're calling Nirvana the reincarnator, and honestly, the art is making this whole scene feel epic. Everyone realizes Nirvana isn't just a human, he's different and doesn't think like regular people do. Apparently, Nirvana knows about TWSA, another powerful entity, but he refuses to exploit that knowledge, which is kinda honorable. Nirvana's got this whole I see everything vibe, and it's clear he's playing a very long game. He's seriously powerful but refuses to take advantage of TWSA, and that's a twist nobody saw coming. Our boy is a total enigma, a reincarnated being who won't play dirty, even if it means making things harder for himself. Okay, so Nirvana's reaching for Yoonhyuk, saying they need to become one, super creepy vibes. Someone yells oh, and it's like, yeah, this is a seriously intense moment, no doubt. Yoonhyuk's looking at Nirvana, then glances at someone else and says he finally gets it. What's happening? Everything goes black again, then a single eye opens in the darkness. Talk about unsettling. Yoonhyuk starts narrating, saying he remembers the first time he opened his eyes in this world. But hold up, he wasn't human, he was a diving beetle, guys. And just when you think it can't get weirder, a frog eats him, straight up eaten the moment he blinked. He's a frog now and gets immediately swallowed by a rattlesnake, no time to process. Wait, this dude reincarnates again, becoming the very snake that ate him. Now he's an anaconda and straight up declares he's gonna eat all the snakes. The irony is real. He keeps getting reborn as bigger and bigger snakes, aiming to become a powerful monster, seriously. However, his rampage gets cut short. Humans, armed to the teeth, are hunting him down. They're pelting him with arrows, and this dude is taking some serious damage, bro. He's wounded and exhausted, collapsing into a pile of leaves, looking totally defeated. But then a man appears tending to his wounds and releasing him back into the forest. What a twist. And then another life, he's born as a human with those familiar golden eyes. So this whole time it's been a cycle of reincarnation, and our boy finally remembers everything. Turns out this dude isn't just any reincarnator, he's one of the powerful beings called constellations and has lived countless lives. He's died a million deaths, experienced every scenario imaginable, but only he retains his memories between lives. But being the only one who remembers is incredibly lonely, and he decides he's just gonna enjoy each life to the fullest. He vows to live like it's his last, forgetting the weight of endless rebirths, and honestly, we're here for it. Then bam, he's caught in the huge wheel of time, and his reincarnation circuit is now controlled by it. Mandala's protector, a powerful constellation, takes pity on him, and he's thrown into planetary system 8612. He's participating in a new scenario, and the stakes are clearly high, but our boy is ready to play the game. This isn't a normal scenario, he's stuck in an endless cycle, a cog in the machine of time itself. No way, he's literally being pulled apart and rebuilt by these massive gears, a ghostly figure amidst the chaos. And now the system announces he's caught in the wheel of time, like it's just a minor inconvenience. Okay, so this dude Yoonhyuk is laying into this other guy, demanding he get out of their way, threatening to kill him. But then this golden-haired guy, a constellation, interrupts, claiming Yoonhyuk is just like him. He says Yoonhyuk is the only one who understands him in the whole universe and calls him his salvation. Talk about a power move. Yoonhyuk admits he failed in a past life, but this time things are different and he's got a new determination. The golden guy is all about merging with Yoonhyuk, like becoming one with him, and honestly, it's a little creepy. He's radiating power, glowing like a sun, and Yoonhyuk is staring him down, clearly conflicted. We get a flashback Yoonhyuk and this golden guy standing side by side, looking way more subdued. The golden guy is laying it all out. He wants to know if Yoonhyuk remembers failing in his previous life. But then the golden guy smiles, a genuine, hopeful smile, and it throws everything off. And just when you think things are settling, the golden guy floats up, promising to help Yoonhyuk. This is getting wild. Okay, so Yoongyok says he wasn't talking to this golden guy. It's a straight-up denial. But then the constellations are losing it, especially demonic Judge of Fire, who's apparently appalled. The golden guy is shocked, demanding to know what Yoongyok even means by that statement. Yoongyok doubles down, saying they aren't companions like at all, and things are getting tense. Demonic Judge is gifting Yoongyok coins, clearly invested in this chaotic drama, but Yoongyok is not amused. He's yelling about love triangles, but honestly he's just stressed, and we get it. The golden guy is suddenly engulfed in flames, and he's asking why Yoongyok won't choose him. Sparks are flying, and the golden guy's cloak is wrapping around Yoongyok. It's a full-on power move. He's practically begging for Yoongyok's attention, and our boy looks totally overwhelmed by it all. Okay, so things are wild. Dokja's bookmark skill is updating, and it's happening right now. He's getting new bookmarks, replacing the old ones, but it's messing with his timing, big time. Suddenly, these super-fast enemies appear using some crazy wind technique, and Dokja's like, really, right now? They're already on him, moving so fast it's like they're using the way of the wind. Seriously, this is intense. Wait for it, they were once reincarnated as an immuter of Chronos, which explains the speed. One of them attacks and Dokja barely blocks with his sword, but it's a powerful strike, no doubt. Dokja tries to counter, swinging his blade, but the enemy's golden energy is blocking everything. He's getting pushed back and the enemy yells move, straight up ordering him around. The golden energy explodes around them and Dokja's dodging, trying to create some distance. But the enemy's attacks are relentless, swirling around him in a dazzling golden storm. This is a serious fight. Okay, so this blonde dude, Lee Sejun, is laying down some serious truth bombs on Dokja, saying he needs to prioritize his friends. But Sejun drops a bomb. Dokja's friend is going to die if he doesn't make a choice, and Dokja is losing it. Suddenly, a shadowy figure attacks and Dokja yells for his friend to get back, but it's already too late. Sejun unleashes this insane golden energy, and honestly, it's a whole other level of power. Dokja's stunned. Sparks are flying everywhere as Sejun and Dokja get engulfed in golden light, a chaotic energy swirling around them. The scene cuts to a flashback. Apparently, this skill Sejun's using is similar to the boss of the theater dungeon. An older man explains its simulation, but cranked up to 11. This dude is recognizing the danger. Dokja realizes the skill is even more powerful than before, and he's seriously worried about what's happening. We get a quick shot of Dokja dodging the attack. That swordplay is on point, but it's barely enough. Dokja is completely shocked, realizing this skill is next level. No way, this is just a simple upgrade. Okay, so Sejun's explaining this skill traps targets in their worst memories, an eternal nightmare straight up. He calls Dokja a foolish creature and tries to shove him into the skill, but Dokja isn't having it. Dokja declares he'll send Sejun to the netherworld himself, raising his sword to block the attack. But Sejun's already figured out something's off. He wonders how their skill levels were set just right. Sejun suspects someone helped Dokja, and then bam, a sudden attack nearly gets him. Dokja manages to block, but the force sends Sejun flying back, and this dude is not pleased. Sejun keeps pushing, sending waves of golden energy, and Dokja's dodging like crazy to survive. However, Dokja realizes Sejun isn't just testing him, he's actually trying to help him. Sejun's skill has a weakness and Dokja needs to exploit it, but it's a super narrow window. Dokja seizes the moment and stabs Sejun with his sword. Talk about a power move. Dokja shouts for Sanga, Huiwen, and everyone else to run. No time for pleasantries, bro. Someone yells run, claiming there's no hope for Seoul if Sejun catches them too. Seriously. Sejun's all about his beauty, calling himself the king of beauty. Honestly, the ego on this guy. Dokja's about to get swarmed, but then golden energy erupts, pushing everyone back. He touches Sejun and golden strands of energy wrap around his arm like a power-up transfer. Dokja's absorbing something from Sejun, but it's not what we expect. It's a strange, golden infection. Sejun's eyes widen as he sees Dokja absorbing his power, and it's clear this wasn't part of the plan. Dokja unleashes the stolen energy, and it's a full-on explosion of golden light and power. He swings his sword, deflecting attacks left and right. This dude is a whirlwind of energy. Sejun watches in shock as Dokja protects the others, declaring his love for beautiful creatures. What a twist. Sejun's skill amps up people's desires, and Dokja straight up uses it against him. No way. He's forcing Sejun to obsess over the present moment, and it's messing with his head, big time. Dokja shouts die for the present while stabbing Sejun, and honestly, this dude had it coming. Sejun's losing it, babbling about how this world is hell, but Dokja's absorbing his power. What? Dokja's getting a bookmark update, and the system is recognizing his efforts. It's leveling up. He activates a personal skill, the way of the wind, and a massive gust of energy explodes outwards. Our boy's suddenly a whirlwind of motion, deflecting attacks and protecting everyone around him. He's all about protecting beautiful things, declaring his love, talk about a mood swing. The Salvation Church is somehow involved, and the system says that's how people join them. Creepy. Dokja's bookmarks are fully updated, and he's ready to take on whatever comes next. Let's go. Dokja's power surges, and he's suddenly a blur, slicing through the air. It's a whirlwind of blue energy. He's protecting the others, but Sejun's still reeling, babbling about how Dokja's a monster. Bro is losing it. Sejun tries to fight back, but Dokja's too fast, and the sword comes crashing down. Ouch, that looks bad. He's pierced Sejun's shoulder, and Sejun's eyes widen in shock. No escaping this one, huh? Sejun collapses, but Dokja's not done. He's absorbing Sejun's power and is getting even stronger. What a power move. Okay, so things are insane right now. This guy, Nirvana, is straight up flying at Yoongyuk, and it's a total ambush. Nirvana's dropping some serious knowledge bombs. He says his present isn't now, which is a lot to unpack, honestly. Yoongyuk is clearly shocked, questioning what trickery is happening, but Nirvana doesn't even flinch. This dude Nirvana is giving off major villain vibes with that smirk. Like seriously, this guy is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Nirvana reveals he knows Dokja's name and then asks if they're doing introductions. The audacity. He's basically saying he only used melee skills because he wanted to target Yoongyuk's weakness. So patty, but effective. Nirvana's getting cryptic, saying some nebulas warned him and that he should be watching out for Dokja. What does that even mean? Okay, but the way Nirvana is looking at Dokja is creepy. He's assessing him, and it's sending chills. Nirvana casually drops that he knows Dokja, and it's a total power move. He's setting the terms of their interaction. But wait, Nirvana is warning Dokja that he should watch out for him. No way, this is a total reversal of expectations. Nirvana is totally unfazed by whatever just happened, saying they regained their composure quickly, like too quickly. He drops a bomb. He expected this because Dokja is a reincarnator. This dude knows way too much. Yoongyuk asks about a few nebulas and then wonders if they caught Nirvana's attention. Smooth. Nirvana demands to know how Yoongyuk got such a powerful mental barrier. It's a seriously intense question. He reveals only Anna Croft was immune to his thought infection, and now he's convinced Dokja has something to do with it. Nirvana's eyes are glowing red, and he thinks Dokja must have gotten to the reincarnator already, Anna Croft. He's rambling about her willingness to sell her soul to save the world, and then narrows in on Yoongyuk. Nirvana suddenly knows Yoongyuk is the prophet, and a notification pops up saying the demonic judge of fire is watching their conversation. Another constellation, the secretive plotter, is also observing the situation. Things are getting seriously complicated. Nirvana says the filter on the spoilers should be lifting now, and constellations are starting to search for info on regressors and reincarnators. Nirvana straight up asks Dokja to join him and Yoongyuk, claiming he's become curious. It's a trap, bro. Dokja refuses, but Nirvana doesn't even care, promising he can help Dokja survive the end of the world. Nirvana then lays it all out. He'll let Dokja become one with him, which is unsettling to say the least. But hold up, Nirvana reveals he's a reader too, and honestly, that changes everything. He starts unleashing this insane golden energy, and a ton of shadowy figures materialize around him. It's a visual overload. These shadowy figures are all versions of the Monkey King. This dude is collecting characters like Pokemon cards. Nirvana's power is expanding, and the Monkey King clones are swirling around him like a chaotic vortex. He's literally absorbing all these different versions of the Monkey King. It's a terrifying display of power. Nirvana's going full-on God mode, and the energy is radiating off the page. It's intense. But because he's a reader, Nirvana knows the story and he's about to rewrite it. Talk about a plot twist. Dokja realizes he's up against a reincarnator, someone who's lived through this story before. He thinks about it, this opponent has battle experience from multiple lives, so they'll adapt fast. Dokja decides he can't let the fight drag on or he's toast, he needs to end it now. And then out of nowhere, our boy activates his miniaturization skill. What a move. Dokja shrinks down to like tiny size. It's a level 1 skill, so it's not perfect. He dashes forward, hoping to catch his opponent off guard with this unexpected size change. However, the skill duration is super short, only 2 minutes. Talk about a limited time offer. Dokja's already planning his next move, confident this will work, and honestly, we're here for it. He's shrunk, he's dashing, and he's ready to take on this reincarnator. Let's go. Skills effects are kicking in, and he's a miniature whirlwind of determination. This is gonna be good. Dokja chooses the 5th bookmark, Kyuji's Rod Graham, and a burst of energy explodes around him. He gets a system message. His physical traits match Kyuji's, but his skill level is too low to use everything. But no worries, electrification level 10 activates and lightning starts crackling all over our boy. Kyuji's appears radiating power, and honestly, he looks seriously smug. The battlefield transforms into a chaotic mess of debris and sparking electricity. It's a full-on power display. Kyuji's is unleashing some serious energy, and it's clear he's way stronger than Dokja right now. He's casually dodging lightning strikes while trash-talking. This dude is a menace. Dokja gets blasted back, but he's still standing. He's tougher than he looks, even with the skill limitations. Kyuji's keeps attacking, and a massive energy blade forms. It's about to slice right through Dokja. Dokja's not going down without a fight. He's charging up again, ready to face the attack head-on. Dokja is getting absolutely wrecked, coughing up blood, but he's still trying to stand. What a fighter. Someone, probably a minion, is questioning how Dokja is even alive after that attack, but honestly, he's a survivor. Kyuji's is bleeding too and looks furious, but it's kinda hard to tell with that stoic face of his. More blood is spilling everywhere as the fight continues. This is getting seriously messy, bro. Kyuji's is radiating power, a blue aura surrounding him, and he looks down on Dokja with pure disdain. The ground is sparking with electricity, and Kyuji's feet are glowing. He's charging up a big one. A massive burst of energy erupts, engulfing someone below. It's a blinding white light, no way. The energy fades, revealing a child. Straight up, that's a twist we didn't see coming. Someone mentions a stigma, and it's clear this is about to get even more complicated. Uh-oh. Okay, so things are bad. Straight up a massacre happened, and Ji-won and some others are kneeling amidst all the bodies. Ji-won desperately asks if anyone knows where Hyo-won is. She's missing, and honestly, it's not looking good. We get a close-up of Hyo-won, and she's smiling while kneeling amongst the carnage. That's unsettling, to say the least. Dokja, our boy, is standing there looking shocked. What is right, because this whole situation is wild. Dokja retreats, finding a rooftop overlooking the city, and decides he needs to focus his mind, but it's clear he's not okay. He's trying to fall asleep, seemingly trying to enter some kind of mental state, but it's all super mysterious. Dokja admits he's gotten used to these messed up scenarios, which is honestly terrifying. This dude has seen some stuff. He needs to find the voice, a mysterious call that's been haunting him, and he instructed his companions to alert him if anything goes wrong. The voice is getting louder, and Dokja is fully immersed in this strange, swirling cosmic space in his mind. He remembers telling his allies to contact him if anything happened, a last-ditch effort that might be his only hope. Dokja whispers Dokja, it's like he's trying to ground himself, but things are about to get wild. He's found it, a third-person perspective, like he's watching everything happen to someone else, not himself. The city is engulfed in flames, a complete inferno, and it's absolutely terrifying to witness. We're getting closer and closer to the source of the fire. It's intense and overwhelming. Dokja stares into the blaze and realizes this is no ordinary fire. It's Hyo-won's hell flames ignition. He's relieved Hyo-won seems to be alive, but something's off, like a piece of the puzzle is missing. But hold up, this isn't Hyo-won's perspective, it's someone else's, and Dokja is seeing through their eyes. Dokja walks forward, completely unfazed by the raging inferno, and it's giving me chills. He's walking through the fire, still seeing the world through another person's eyes, and it's so unsettling. Dokja finally understands he's not seeing Hueyuan's flames, he's seeing through the eyes of the one controlling them. Dokja realizes Yoonhyo is also under Nirvana's control. No way, this is getting out of hand. He demands to know who's behind all this, and Hueyuan's name echoes back, it's her, but something feels seriously wrong. Dokja straight up walks into the flames, unfazed, still seeing through whoever is controlling Hueyuan's power. We get a close-up of those fiery red eyes. They're burning with an intensity that's kinda terrifying, honestly. It's a man with red eyes, and he's clearly being consumed by the same power that's fueling the flames. He's wearing a jacket, looking completely shocked by what's happening, but also powerful. The man stands amidst the chaos, engulfed in fire, but he's not getting burned. What is going on? Dokja is shocked, but he's piecing it together. This man isn't being controlled, he is the source. Dokja shouts Hueyuan's name, he needs to reach her, but this dude is standing in the way. However, this isn't just about Hueyuan anymore. This power is way bigger, and our boy is walking into a trap. Dokja charges forward, sword raised, aiming straight for the man controlling the flames. It's all or nothing. He swings, but the man doesn't even flinch, and the fire around him intensifies. This is bad, really bad. Dokja's attack connects, but instead of blood, it's just more fire, spreading like crazy. What is this power? The man casually deflects the sword, and Dokja realizes he's not just fighting a person, he's fighting a concept. Dokja tries to counter with his knowledge of the novel, but the man just laughs, saying the story has changed. The man unleashes a massive wave of fire, engulfing the entire city. It's a full-blown apocalypse. Dokja is blown back, but he's still standing, determined to stop this, even if it kills him. The man shouts a single word, flare, and the flames surge again, threatening to consume everything. No way. Dokja is taking a beating, straight up engulfed in flames, but he's still fighting, pushing through the pain. Hueyuan's name rips from Hyeseong's throat. He's frantic, realizing she's in danger and can't reach her. Hyeseong screams for Hueyuan, but Dokja cuts him off, saying she's not somewhere he can help her. Harsh, but true. Dokja explains that Hueyuan is under the control of the I Thought infection. This dude is piecing it all together. The man smirks, revealing he's been expecting Dokja and knows the story, but claims it's changing now. He raises his sword and a blinding light erupts. This isn't just a fight, it's a clash of wills. Dokja swings again, but the man deflects it with ease and the flames intensify. He's toying with our boy. The man's sword cleaves through the air, creating a devastating wave of energy. This is a whole new level of power. Dokja is desperately trying to protect Hyeseong, shielding him from the blast. He really cares about this dude. But the man just laughs and the flames surge once more. This is bad, really bad, and the situation is spiraling. Hyeseong coughs and sputters, clearly shocked. He's asking if this is a dream. No way. He's trying to figure out if he was just hit, and honestly, this dude had it coming. Dokja is furious, clenching his fist. He's about to unleash a world of pain. You can feel it. The man casually asks what Hyeseong was doing, falling asleep like that, so condescending. Hyeseong tries to speak, but just manages a weak act. He's really out of it. Dokja's voice cuts in, demanding to know what the man did, but the man just scoffs. The man insists he just woke Hyeseong up. He's playing it cool, but Dokja isn't buying it. Hyeseong, still recovering, wonders if he was actually punched. The denial is strong. Dokja's about to snap, yelling that it's hard to believe anything this guy says. The tension is building. Dokja is absolutely livid, demanding to know what the man did to Hyeseong. He's not backing down at all. The man just smirks, claiming he's the one who should be asking questions, straight up gaslighting everyone right now. Okay, so things are intense. This guy, he's always relied on a third option to get out of trouble, right? Now, there is no third option, and he's realizing it, staring right into the face of disaster. He's clearly panicking, sweat dripping, eyes wide. Bro is not ready for what's coming. He forces a smile, trying to act cool, but we can see right through it. It's a total facade. Then the screen goes black, and honestly, it's a terrifying reveal of the word Omniscient looming. He's standing amidst the wreckage, facing total chaos, and it's clear his usual tricks aren't gonna cut it this time. Okay, so this dude is losing it, realizing just how powerful this woman, his former ally, has become. He's yelling at her, demanding to know why she's changed, but honestly, she's clearly beyond caring. She's about to unleash some serious power, and he's getting too close for comfort, straight up in her face. She attacks, unleashing demon slaying and Uriel's hellflame ignition. It's a fiery explosion, no way. This woman isn't holding back, unleashing her full power. She's a force of nature right now. He's reeling, realizing she's the most powerful ally he's ever gathered, but now she's against him. Seriously, the flames are everywhere, completely engulfing the scene. It's a total inferno. She's absolutely demolishing everything, and this dude is starting to understand the gravity of the situation. It's clear she's not just strong, she's on another level, and our boy is seriously outmatched. But even with all this power, it seems she's still hesitant, like there's more to her motives than we know. He's desperately trying to reach Hyunseon, screaming for her to stop, but she's already committed. She unleashes a massive blast of energy, and for a second, it looks like she's aiming right at him. But she's not attacking him, she's actually trying to destroy the scene, obliterating everything around them. This dude is thrown back, crashing through debris, and honestly, it's a brutal hit. He's down, struggling to get up, but she's already flying towards him with another attack. He tries to brace for impact, summoning his power, but it's clearly not enough to block her full force. He manages to deflect some of the blow, but it still sends him flying again, straight into the chaos. Seriously, the force of the impact is insane. He's completely airborne, a ragdoll in the flames. He's falling, and someone is yelling at her to snap out of it, demanding she regain control. She's relentless, unleashing another wave of energy right as he hits the ground. No way this is gonna end well. Hyunseon is straight up refusing to let him run, declaring no one will hold him accountable now. This dude is losing it, yelling he doesn't want this, claiming she should see him as someone to strive for. But she's not hearing it, demanding he do exactly as she says. Talk about controlling. He protests that's not the kind of guidance he needs, and a fiery energy starts dripping around them. He's desperate, saying he can't just give up this easily, no matter how bad things get. He even vows to die right there if that's what it takes. Talk about commitment, even if it's misguided. Hyunseon finally seems to notice his resolve, and honestly, it's a bit unnerving. She stares at him expressionless, and then she approves, saying well done. The scene cuts back to the other guy, still engulfed in flames and looking absolutely wrecked. And that's it, she's just okay with this. This whole situation is wild, bro. Hyunseon reveals this third option isn't something she could simply order him to do. It's something hidden. She explains it's a way of doing things he figured out himself without following the rules, and our boy is shocked. He admits he wasn't even sure this would work, which is kinda wild considering how confident he seemed before. The scene flashes to a vision of a woman in a suit, holding a sword, and then back to the chaotic energy. Hyunseon drops the bomb. This is what she always had in her heart, and honestly, that's intense. The scene cuts back to the man, and he's got this lotus flower symbol glowing on his forehead, looking serious. She's got that determined look, and it's clear she's ready to follow through with whatever she's planning. But this whole situation is just wow. Hyunseon is playing a whole different game. Stepping forward, straight up ignoring the warnings, this dude is all in. He declares there's no need for thanks because they're just getting started, and the confidence is unreal. He's running now, bathed in this blue light, and it looks like he's about to unleash something huge. Everyone's calling him Master of Steel, the most indomitable being. The hype is real, bro. He demands to know why the constellation answered his call, and it's clear he's taking charge. This other guy is getting engulfed in red energy, and honestly, it looks painful. The constellation remains silent, but our boy knows exactly what's happening. It's fear. He calls out the other guy for fearing the consequences of probability, and it's a savage burn. He questions how much longer this guy will walk on eggshells around other nebulas. The tension is building. The real question is, will he just stand by while the scenario reaches an apocalypse? No way. Okay, so our boy Dokja is straight up forging a blade like a real blade, using his life force and heat. The temperature is climbing insane, hitting levels nobody has ever seen, but he's pushing through it. The quenching process begins, and it looks painful. He's basically hardening his body like steel, no cap. He's hammering away, channeling everything he has into this weapon, and it's intense. The heat is unreal. He's going for the ultimate steel, pushing himself to the absolute limit, and honestly, it's kinda terrifying. But then someone is yelling at him to hold on, saying he can do it, which is a little late, honestly. The heat is building again, reaching critical levels as he continues to shape the blade. It's a total inferno. He's surrounded by flames, but he's not backing down, determined to finish what he started, no matter the cost. And just when you think he's reached his limit, he pushes even harder, forging on despite the pain. This dude is transforming, becoming one with the steel, and it's a wild sight. We're talking full body upgrade. Okay, so Dokja finishes the blade, and it's glowing like seriously radiating power, no cap. But the process unlocks something inside Huiwen. She's reliving some major trauma. It's rough. She's straight up losing it, screaming about humans needing to die, and it's terrifying to see. The system is going wild, flagging Huiwen as being mind-controlled and losing reason. Things are escalating fast. Dokja realizes what's happening and asks if this power is his doing, but honestly, it's a little too late. He apologizes for keeping this a secret, but it doesn't really matter because Huiwen is fully consumed by rage. Huiwen's power erupts and it's a massive explosion of fire. She's completely overwhelmed, bro. The flames are intense, but Dokja is shielding everyone, trying to contain the chaos, and it's a huge risk. However, the power isn't just fire, it's a wave of pure, destructive energy, and it's spreading fast. Everything is being obliterated, and the sound effect flap makes it even more intense. This is BAD. They're trying to overpower Huiwen, but someone points out that'll just hurt her more. Ouch. Dokja lays out the options, kill Nirvana or resolve Huiwen's trauma, and honestly, that's a heavy choice. Killing Nirvana is off the table, so they're betting on fixing Huiwen's issues. It's a risky move. Dokja calls out to her, Mr. Dokja, and it's clear he's trying to reach through the chaos. He declares they'll try to help, and it's a desperate attempt to pull her back from the brink. Sparks fly as whatever power is controlling Huiwen clashes with Dokja's efforts. It's a full-on energy war. Huiwen's eyes glow and she's radiating power, but it's twisted and corrupted. It's super unsettling. She's unleashing a massive attack and Dokja's trying to intercept, but no way this is going to be easy. Dokja's hands are glowing. He's pushing back with everything he has, but the force is overwhelming. More sparks erupt as Dokja continues to fight, desperately trying to save Huiwen from herself. Talk about intense. Dokja's power is going wild, trying to shield Huiwen, but the attack is cracking through. It's brutal. Huiwen's silhouette appears, and this immense, fiery figure is straight up dwarfing her. We see a glimpse of Huiwen's face, and she looks terrified. She's losing control of whatever's happening. The armor is breaking apart, but it's still radiating insane heat, and Huiwen is clearly suffering. The system announces Lee Hyunseon has hit his mental limit. Our boy is pushing himself too hard. But the Constellation Master of Steel is pitying him. That's ominous, honestly. The fiery form continues to crumble, and Huiwen looks even smaller and more vulnerable now. Suddenly, a hand reaches out, glowing with a calming blue light. It's a different kind of energy. It's Yujin. She's calling out to Hyunseon, telling him to let her take over for a bit. Yujin's taking control, and honestly, it's a massive relief. Maybe she can stabilize this mess. Dokja's skill, the fourth wall, is going haywire. It's like the story itself is fighting him. Suddenly, we're inside Dokja's perspective, and he's feeling every ounce of the heat and pain Hyunseon is enduring. The heat is intense, and Dokja realizes just how much Hyunseon is suffering. This dude is straight up burning alive. Huiwen shouts for Dokja, but she's also warning him they're all doomed if this keeps up. Talk about pressure. Huiwen's frantic, yelling that Hyunseon will die if they don't do something, and honestly, she's right. Someone shouts if they're just going to let Hyunseon die. The tension is insane. Everyone's losing it. The armor cracks again, and Dokja shouts he can't take the heat, but he's still pushing forward. No way he's giving up. Dokja starts counting down 3 steps, now 2. He's forcing himself forward, even though it's killing him. He raises his hands, bracing himself against the force, and it's a truly epic image. Our boy is a legend. Dokja is pushing himself to the absolute limit, but will it be enough to save Hyunseon and everyone else? Yujin screams at Dokja to let her handle it, insisting she has to be the one to do this. Talk about a power move. But the armor is reacting to Dokja, not Yujin. The will of steel is locking onto him specifically. That's wild. Huiwen calls out Dokja's name, sounding desperate, and it's clear she's realizing the danger he's putting himself in. Dokja swings his sword, aiming right for the armor, and it's a brutal clash of wills and steel. This is intense. He's forcing the sword through, but the armor is fighting back, and Dokja's face is contorting in pure agony. No way this doesn't hurt. The armor starts to crack and melt under the force, but it's also actively burning Dokja, straight up searing flesh, bro. Dokja grits his teeth, pushing through the pain, and honestly, this dude is a legend for enduring that. Absolute willpower. He manages to break through, but the recoil sends him flying backwards, and it looks like it's costing him everything. Okay, so things are bad, like seriously bad. Our boy and the knight are floating on a tiny chunk of land in the middle of nothing. Someone, the big bad it seems, is unleashing a ton of power, and the message is clear. Someone important is in danger right now. No way, Kim Dokja suddenly wakes up, completely shocked, getting a system message about his body reacting to something huge. He's seeing the villain, and this dude is straight up smirking like he's planned everything from the start. Creepy. The screen cuts to black and we get this ominous title card, Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. It's getting real. He's aware that something is off with the story, and he's ready to use his knowledge to change things. This is gonna be good. Someone thinks Dokja is dead, but hold up, he's totally alive, just barely hanging on. He casually drops that he wasn't actually killed, just almost, which is a weird flex, honestly. Dokja's lying on the floor, and this mysterious figure looms over him, looking super intense. The figure wonders if he should have killed Dokja earlier. Talk about a villainous thought. This dude is realizing things aren't going as planned, and the story is deviating from what he knows. He's frustrated because there's so little information available to him right now. Dokja's inner monologue is firing on all cylinders. He's playing 4D chess with the plot. Our boy is using his knowledge of the novel to manipulate everything, and it's amazing to watch. The villain is starting to unravel because Dokja is straight up breaking the story. But this dude isn't giving up yet. He's determined to rewrite the ending, no matter what. Dokja's spiraling, blaming his loss on everything, time layers, 100 years of training, even his own messed up head. He's convinced he failed because he didn't grab the absolute throne, and honestly, the self-pity is real. He almost wishes he could reset everything, but then someone slaps him, and it hurts, like a lot. The guy who slapped him is standing over him, looking down, and Dokja is clearly reeling from the hit. We see a close-up of Dokja's hand gripping his coat. He's trying to pull himself together, but he's still hurting. The guy asks if Dokja managed to accomplish whatever he was trying to do, and Dokja's got this intense stare. Dokja's eyes are narrowed, a single tear rolls down his cheek, and he's radiating pure determination. The scene cuts to a bright blue sky, then quickly to a street filled with people in chaos. There's a ton of people on the street, and some are lying on the ground. It looks like a massacre, no way. The guy from earlier tells Dokja he hasn't thought about it yet, but things are actually looking up for them. Dokja straight up asks if the guy knows about the reincarnators, and things get tense fast. The guy's shocked, yelling what the heck Dokja is talking about. He's not taking this well. But wait, the guy does know. He's got this haunted look like he's seen some stuff. He starts explaining, and honestly, it's a lot. Something about a king and a church. Suddenly, a silver-haired dude in a fancy robe steps in. This guy is radiating power. The silver-haired guy demands they find his scattered friends, and Dokja realizes it's the King of Salvation. Dokja's got a plan: find everyone before the Salvation Church brainwashes them. He asks for help, and the silver-haired dude seems intrigued, like he's weighing his options. The King of Salvation says he might help, and a bunch of shadowy figures appear behind them. Dokja's desperate, but this could be a trap. However, they are running out of time. Dokja's begging the King of Salvation to accept them, but things are tense. Bro is not impressed. Someone mentions Peace Land, and another guy is straight up desperate to get back there. This dude's got a plan to save everyone, but the King of Salvation is giving him the cold shoulder. The King of Salvation doesn't seem to care and tells them to get lost. Harsh much. But wait, a group approaches, claiming they've heard so much about the Supreme King. They're all hoping for a miracle, but the King of Salvation is unimpressed, honestly. He drops a bomb. They can't save the world with just numbers, and regression is the only way. Dokja's looking at the group, and someone asks who that is. Talk about bad timing. Someone threatens to kill whoever asks, and Dokja's reaction is priceless, seriously. Dokja's got this intense stare, like he's about to unleash something huge. This is gonna be good. Suddenly, the ground cracks and a massive, monstrous wolf bursts through. It's a tier 6 monster. Everyone's shocked, staring at this beast, and honestly, it's terrifyingly huge. One of the guys yells out that it's a tier 6, but Dokja's already analyzing the situation. Our boy is always prepared. Dokja's got a plan, but the King of Salvation is still giving him the cold shoulder, refusing to listen. The king claims regression is the only way, and Dokja's getting increasingly desperate to convince him otherwise. Okay, so things are intense. A new main scenario just dropped, and it's called The Strongest Sacrifice. The clear condition: survive waves of monsters that get harder every 4 hours. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. But there's a catch. They need either half of all the incarnations in Soul Dome, or the strongest incarnation dead. Everyone's freaking out naturally because that's a lot of pressure. This dude's already bored though, seriously. They get a hint the 10th strongest incarnation is Naval Commander Jai Hai Lee. Okay, good to know, I guess. And someone reveals the truth: our boy is only 10th strongest. No way he's losing it. The system's throwing up info and everyone's staring at the screen, trying to figure out what's going on. More system messages appear and the atmosphere is getting seriously tense. Something big is about to happen. This is bad, bro. Someone realizes everything's gone wrong and a scenario they didn't expect is unfolding. Straight up, this is a disaster. A scenario no one predicted has appeared and it's about to get messy. Our boy is slicing through monsters like it's nothing, totally unfazed, and declares he can finally rest. Someone points out the second wave is in 4 hours, and this dude realizes they barely survived the first. Turns out the first wave killed 10% of the population. Straight up devastating news, bro. A man desperately cries for his father, who's lying injured and bleeding out on the ground. Someone screams for help and it's a total mess. People are injured, buildings are destroyed, it's chaos. This dude's still standing, looking all stoic with a woman beside him, and the scene is just grim. Okay, so the new scenario is revealed: the strongest sacrifice. No wonder everyone's stressed. The clear condition is either half of the incarnations or the strongest one. Talk about a no-win situation. They quickly learn that the 10th strongest incarnation is Naval Commander Jai Hai Lee, which is something. However, this whole situation is a setup. A scenario no one predicted is unfolding, and it's about to get worse. Okay, so the aftermath is brutal. 90,000 incarnations are dead, and the streets are covered in stuff. Yu Young-yok's stats pop up, showing he's a mythical level regressor, pro gamer, and supreme king. This dude is stacked. Someone approaches Yu Young-yok, looking super serious, and asks for private conversation. Something's up. They're talking about Yu Young-yok's hidden supporting constellation, and it's clear someone knows more than they let on. Yu Young-yok reveals he knows why his constellation is hidden, and it sounds like a huge deal is about to go down. And then the episode ends. Seriously, no epilogue? That's rough, man. Apparently the author hoped to reveal more in an epilogue but couldn't get to it. Talk about a cliffhanger. No way, this is the very end of the series and it's just over. What a ride. The author leaves us with a final message, and honestly, it's a bit heartbreaking. But seriously, the author didn't get to read the epilogue either. That's a meta-level bummer, bro. Okay, so a mysterious constellation never gave Young-yok any stigmas besides regression until TWSA ended. That's weird. Everyone's asking who on earth could be this powerful constellation, and honestly, it's a good question. Young-yok suddenly asks if there's a way to kill Nirvana, like straight up eliminate him, and his companion thinks he's rushing things. His companion tries to lighten the mood with a rooftop view, but Young-yok is not having it. He demands to know what's going on. Suddenly, chaos erupts below them. A massive battle is raging in the city, and it looks brutal. It's a full-scale assault with buildings crumbling and tons of people caught in the crossfire. This is insane. Young-yok's companion reveals that things used to be different, hinting at a past betrayal or change in events. He's smirking now, and it's unsettling. This dude definitely knows something Young-yok doesn't. Young-yok looks determined, but also vulnerable, like he's realizing the gravity of the situation. He declares there's still something worth protecting, even amidst all this chaos. Our boy's got a heart of gold. Young-yok reveals his goal: stopping the world's end, which is pretty intense, honestly. Ironically, he's willing to abandon this world to achieve it. Talk about a tough choice. He explains regression lets him reset things, but death makes life meaningless, which is a super dark thought. But when death loses meaning, life does too. This dude is dropping some serious philosophical bombs. His companion doesn't believe Young-Yuk understands the full scope of things and straight up calls him clueless. Young-Yuk insists he could do better with each regression, but his companion shuts that down fast. He argues repeating the same things won't fix anything, and Young-Yuk looks genuinely shaken by that. This companion is relentless, saying things only get better with repeated regressions. It's a bold claim. He claims there were unexpected incidents this round, but the next one will be smoother. Sounds fishy to me. Young-Yuk asks why he's so confident, and the companion says it's because he'll know more of what's coming. Okay, so his companion straight up diagnoses Young-Yuk with regressor's depression. It's a real thing, apparently. But Young-Yuk isn't buying it. He thinks another 10 or 20 regressions will give him the edge he needs. He believes more scenarios mean more future knowledge. Sounds logical, right? Wrong, according to his companion. This dude drops a bomb. The real problem is saving the world hundreds of times over. Young-Yuk asks what he means, and his companion is like, can you honestly say you saved the world? He argues that after hundreds of regressions, true salvation is impossible, harsh but fair. Young-Yuk is shocked, insisting there's no way he's regressed that many times. He's clearly in denial. But then his companion's face is partially obscured, and Young-Yuk looks defeated. We get a close-up of his eyes, and honestly, he looks broken. This is getting intense. The panel fades to black, showing a shadowy figure. What does this mean? Talk about a cliffhanger. Okay, so Young-Yuk is completely broken down, admitting he doesn't know how many worlds he's seen. This dude is actually cracking. Okay, so the Church of the Savior is in Gambuk, which is key because our boy Dokja knows something's about to go down. The sky is looking ominous, super dramatic clouds. It's setting the stage for some serious chaos. You can feel it. Yo, the mastermind is straight up telling his assistant they aren't going to the church. They're expecting visitors, which is messed up. The assistant asks how they'll get anyone to bite, but this dude is convinced people will do whatever benefits them, no matter what. But Dokja, being the only reader, knows this logic doesn't apply to Nirvana. Things are about to get wild. Suddenly, golden sparks are flying everywhere, and the statue of Buddha is glowing. It's like a power-up sequence, honestly. The assistant is getting zapped with energy, and it looks intense, like he's being overloaded with power. We get a super close-up of his face, and the guy is sweating bullets, eyes glowing. This isn't going to end well. However, the mastermind declares Nirvana can't be reasoned with, which means whatever's happening is beyond control. And then the golden figure fully awakens, eyes blazing, and it's clear this is not a friendly visit. Prepare for a showdown. Dokja reveals there's a gate in the area, and monsters get stronger every 4 hours. Talk about bad timing. The team is assembled, looking all serious, and Dokja's about to drop some bombshell news. He just bought 10 main scenario #8 loot boxes, which sounds awesome, but sparks are flying, loot boxes are appearing, and this is giving major power-up vibes. These loot boxes are no joke. SSS-grade weapons and skills are inside, but the drop rate is criminally low. Apparently, the Dokubai created these to swindle constellations out of their money, which is shady even for them. The team gets it. It's like a gacha game, and they're all hoping for something good. Dokja's handing out the loot boxes, promising to lighten the mood. What a guy. Someone questions why Dokja's just giving these away, and honestly, good question. Dokja holds up a loot box, revealing a blue schematic. What does it do? We have to know. Okay, so Dokja's getting flack for giving away loot boxes, and someone straight up calls him pathetic. Ouch. Yuseum gets a loot box, and apparently this is the first gift she's ever received. No way. Dokja suggests they all open their boxes together as a breather, trying to keep things light. What a mood. They open the boxes, and bam, a massive flash of light engulfs the room. This is getting intense. The system announces they got alien forest essence, and someone else gets miscellaneous consumables. Talk about underwhelming. Dokja instantly knows it's all E-grade stuff, and honestly, he saw this coming. He's so prepared. But wait, the loot boxes are still spawning items, and it's just more of the same. Seriously. The team's getting increasingly disappointed, and it's clear these loot boxes are a huge letdown. Dokja's face is priceless, a mix of annoyance and I told you so. This dude is a master of reactions. However, the team is still getting something and Dokja is just trying to manage expectations. It's something. Yuseum's loot box opens and it's not just an item, it's the ancient beast's fruit. No way. Everyone's jaws drop because this fruit has a 0.00001% drop rate. It's insanely rare. They're all shocked Yuseum pulled it off and she's equally stunned. How lucky is her incarnation? The fruit is described as the best item Yuseum could hope for since she uses taming, perfect timing. Apparently, if you feed this fruit to a beast you can't tame, it'll just tame it. That's a game changer. Someone questions why Dokja's just giving these away, and honestly, good question. Dokja holds up a loot box, revealing a blue schematic. What does it do? We have to know. Okay, so Dokja's getting flack for giving away loot boxes, and someone straight up calls him pathetic. Ouch. Yuseum gets a loot box, and apparently this is the first gift she's ever received. No way. Dokja suggests they all open their boxes together as a breather, trying to keep things light. What a mood. Dokja's offering up all the consumables from those boxes, but Yujin's not having it. She wants them. Yuseum's confused, asking if Dokja can only use that power on beasts, and Dokja just stares back. What's up with that? Dokja's got this creepy grin on his face. Something's definitely brewing, and it's probably not good. Suddenly, they're all getting a ton of megaphones, like a lot. Blue, red, and yellow ones are just appearing. Apparently, Dokja wants them to use the megaphones to taunt their enemies, but honestly, that's a bold move. Someone questions what they'll even say through the megaphones, and Dokja just smirks. It depends on what they say. This dude is straight up enjoying this, and his grin is getting wider with every passing second. It's unsettling. Team is visibly confused, but Dokja is just vibing with his plan. This is gonna be chaos, I can feel it. Dokja's eyes are glinting, and he's just radiating pure mischief. Our boy is about to unleash a masterclass in trolling. That grin, it's huge. Whatever Dokja's planning, it's going to be legendary, but probably infuriating to his enemies. Okay, so Dokja's plan is revealed. He wants to use the megaphones to mess with the constellations. Straight up chaotic. He explains that constellations have egos and they can be provoked, which is a bold strategy. Cotton. Let's see if it works. But the team is realizing Dokja isn't just messing around. He's trying to distract the constellations while they escape. This dude is a genius. Okay, so this dude, Jaehoon, is getting grilled by someone named Uriel. It's intense. Uriel's basically saying he used some crazy skill on a child, and now they want it reversed. No chill. Jaehoon's all mysterious with that glowing mark on his forehead, straight up refusing to explain himself. He's keeping his cards close to his chest, and honestly, it's kinda making everyone mad. Then another guy, this blonde dude named Gabriel, shows up and is immediately condescending. Ugh. Gabriel thinks the child just needs to choose to live in the present, like it's that simple. He's so wrong. But Jaehoon cuts him off, seeing the child's already had enough of the present, which is a whole mood. Jaehoon's laying down some serious wisdom, telling everyone not to judge what others want from life. He's claiming this child is blessed, but doesn't even realize it. It's a wild claim. And just when you think things are calming down, Jaehoon drops another bomb. She's already suffered enough. This is getting good. Uriel's all, don't forget, and it's super ominous, like a threat hanging in the air. He casually rests his hand on the table, but the chair creaks. It's creepy as heck, bro. Uriel lays down the law. He's only letting this girl live as long as her story is interesting. No pressure. The girl finally asks what he wants to know, and her expression is pure fire, honestly. Uriel reveals he's looking for Dokja Kim, a name that clearly hits a nerve with this girl. She claims she doesn't know him, but Gabriel's all, oh, we know you're lying. Gabriel drops a bombshell. A neutral party already told him Dokja Kim is her son. What? She's shocked, and this dude, Gabriel, is smirking like he just won the lottery. Our boy Jaehoon is giving major side-eye, straight up judging Gabriel's smug face. The tension is unreal, and it's clear this is about to blow up in a huge way. Uriel casually threatens that anyone standing with this girl will die, but she's not having it. She calls his threat cliché and accuses him of relying on these tired lines the whole time. She's fearless. Suddenly, energy starts crackling around Uriel's hands, and a magical circle begins to spin. Sparks fly as the circle intensifies, and Uriel's power is seriously escalating. This is getting intense. More sparks erupt and Uriel's face is all tight with barely contained energy, bro. The energy surges and it looks like the table is about to be obliterated, honestly. Sparks are literally flying everywhere as Uriel amps up the pressure. This is a full-on magical showdown. The girl focuses her own power, a purple glow forming around her hands. She's ready to fight back. She's not backing down and her eyes are locked on Uriel's, challenging him to make his move. Uriel's staring her down and you can tell this isn't just a battle of power, it's a battle of wills. Whoa, Jaehoon's being and causation skill just leveled up to 6, massive power boost incoming. Uriel's eyes glow orange and he's straight up analyzing Jaehoon, realizing this dude has future knowledge. Uriel's not impressed, scoffing that a human is accessing restricted future information. Talk about arrogant. The city is getting wrecked as Uriel's power explodes, buildings crumbling and smoke filling the sky. A group of people with glowing red tubes are aiming at Jaehoon, but he's totally unfazed. Jaehoon's looking right into the camera and he's not scared. This is his story after all. Uriel finds Jaehoon interesting, but that's a bad sign, trust me, it never ends well. More sparks and energy beams fill the screen. This fight is escalating quickly, no way. Jaehoon is dodging these blasts like a pro, weaving through the chaos with incredible speed. He's maneuvering through the destruction, and it looks like he's planning something big. Uriel's laying into Jaehoon's mother, accusing her of lying and manipulating her son. Wow, harsh. Uriel claims no one can beat his son, but then admits someone forced him to use succession. That's a major reveal. He's furious that someone, a human no less, could push him to that level and clenches his fist in rage. Jaehoon steps forward, declaring there are no more, no less. Bro is drawing a line in the sand. This is getting intense. Some sketchy guys are testing, and seem to be calling in reinforcements. Things are about to get chaotic. These guys are unleashing glowing red and blue orbs, aiming right at Jaehoon, but he's totally unfazed, honestly. Uriel's getting nervous, realizing Jaehoon's not just a pawn, and he's starting to question everything. The scene cuts back to Uriel and Jaehoon's mom, and Uriel's looking straight up panicked now. This is a power shift. Jaehoon's getting serious and a blinding light erupts, showing he's about to unleash something massive. The light engulfs everything, and you just know this is going to change the whole game. No way this ends well. Uriel announces a duel. The strongest will fight to save Seoul Dome from doom. Seriously. This dude, Nirvana Mobius, steps up and declares the time and place. 2 p.m. at Gwanghwamun, no joke. He's grinning like a maniac, and honestly, it's a little terrifying. Nirvana Mobius reveals the opponent, Yoonhyuk Yu, the Supreme King. Talk about a power match. Uriel's shocked, but Jaehoon's mom is just staring intently, like she knew this was coming. Jaehoon steps forward and Uriel demands he doesn't back down from this duel. It's a direct challenge. He's laying it all out. 2 titans will clash, but it's all to save everyone from certain doom. Jaehoon says if you're truly living in the present, you won't hesitate. Bro is intense. There's a cut to a smaller image of Yoonhyuk Yu, and he's smirking. This is gonna be good. Okay, so Dokja is getting bombarded with a message, some kind of system notification popping up in his head. But honestly, a fight is breaking out around them, and the others are focused on that. It's not the real problem. Someone's got a serious glare and is clearly plotting something, and it's making everyone uneasy. Then bam, the message finally resolves, and it's huge. You are the strongest incarnation of Seoul. No way. The system is straight up telling Dokja he's the most powerful being in the city, which is a lot to take in. He tries to process this, but the scene around him is total chaos. People are getting wrecked. They're standing amidst the wreckage, and it's grim bodies everywhere, a real disaster zone. Dokja hears someone yell his name, Dokja. It's urgent, and he turns around to see what's up. 2 people are desperately waving for help, stuck in the middle of the destruction, and he's looking right at them. He's taking it all in, and you can tell our boy is about to make a decision, a big one, because everything is changing. Yeonseong is hurt, but he's trying to play it cool, insisting he's fine. Classic bro move. Everyone's looking at Dokja, wondering how he's handling things after his big announcement. Dokja's getting a read on Yeonseong and straight up says he's not buying the I'm okay act. Then it drops. Yeonseong has taken his first steps towards succeeding Master Steel's story. Huge. The others are realizing Yeonseong has seriously leveled up, and he's definitely not bluffing now. They're all agreeing this dude is now easily top 5 strongest in Seoul Dome, no joke. Dokja explains that Hyunseon's power isn't about skills, it's all about the story he's inhabiting. He remembers reading about this in episode 51 of TWSA, and it's all clicking into place. The system is rewarding Hyunseon with stories, and they're apparently super rare and difficult to get. And boom, another system message: you are the strongest incarnation of Seoul. Dokja is a monster. Dokja is chillingly confident. He assures everyone they'll be fine as long as they stay put. Someone shouts they need to kill the leader of Salvation Church to finish the scenario, and it's all-out war. This dude is getting sliced at, but a hooded figure pulls him back from a fatal blow. No way. A group of people confronts Dokja, demanding to know if he knew this chaos would happen. Dokja plays it cool, admitting he suspected something like this, but honestly, he wasn't expecting this. They're realizing most of the incarnations in Seoul have been here from the start. That's a little unsettling. Dokja explains all they need is momentum, and the incarnations are starting to rally. The crowd is chanting to bring down Salvation Church, and it's a total roar of energy. An older man dismisses everything, saying Korea is done for and he wants his land back rude. But someone calls him out, asking if that's all he cares about, and reminds him about Senga being held captive. The system's going wild, showering people with story fragments. It's like a blue rain of power. Hyunseon is getting flooded with stories, and someone else is getting them too, a curly-haired dude, but he's furious. This other guy is straight up jealous. He can't believe someone else is stronger than him. It's hilarious. Dokja steps in, telling everyone to focus on the battle, because a second wave of monsters is coming, no chill. He reveals they just got a second hint, but someone else is already plotting to take over Gwangwoman after this scenario. Dokja orders the rest of the team to follow him, and they nod, ready to roll, while the jealous guy sulks. The scene cuts to someone's shocked face. They're seeing the power levels of these story fragments, and it's insane. The system is blasting out a notification, announcing the approach of the second wave of monsters, Flash. Everything's glowing bright blue, and the energy is building. It's a massive surge of power. But seriously, this second wave is gonna be a problem, and our boy Dokja knows it. Someone starts walking towards the group, and it's clear the Salvation Church built that weird dome around Seoul. This dude is all like, the church built it, and someone else is immediately like, my fellow king. But then someone's head starts sparking with energy. It looks super painful, honestly. The leader of the group starts speaking, and he's using voice amplification, which is kinda sus. He claims they all understand why Dokja came all this way, but it feels like a trap. This guy is laying it all out, whether they are with the church or not. They're just helpless humans. He says they are all victims of this scenario, but honestly, sounds like he's trying to manipulate everyone. Someone yells at him, accusing the church of starting this fight, and another person is screaming for him to be killed. The leader tries to calm things down, warning that monsters will attack soon if they fight amongst themselves. He proposes a dark solution, sacrificing the most powerful incarnation to save everyone. No way. Someone's pointing out that two people, a blondie and a dark-haired guy, are the most likely candidates to be the most powerful incarnations here. The blondie is glowing like a golden god, and the dark-haired dude is radiating serious power, but it's darker, more intense. Oh no, they're already fighting. Like, before anyone can even process what's happening, swords are drawn and things are getting messy. People are freaking out, yelling what's going on, and they've started fighting. It's total chaos, honestly. This dude is straight up leaping into the fray, and everyone's losing their minds. It's a full-blown brawl. Okay, so everything is going down. Yoonhyuk is about to hit Nirvana, a super powerful state, and the crowd is losing it. This massive cube is glowing with ancient patterns, and it's the focal point for Yoonhyuk's transformation, but it's clearly a trap. He roars, yelling out Nirvana and Yoonhyuk. It's intense, and everyone's freaking out alongside him. People are murmuring, clearly unsettled by what's happening, and someone, a serious-looking guy, is watching intently. Suddenly, a shadowy figure bursts forward with a glowing sword, sparking with energy, and it's all happening so fast. The figure slashes, aiming straight for Yoonhyuk, and the blade is crackling with power, a blue streak against the darkness. A blinding light erupts, cutting off the attack, and it's a total flashbang. Everyone is shielding their eyes. We get a glimpse of someone bathed in golden light floating amidst those intricate patterns, and it's unsettling. This dude is levitating, surrounded by glowing symbols, and honestly, it looks less like nirvana and more like a summoning ritual. Golden light intensifies, and it's clear whatever Young-hyuk is unlocking is way bigger and potentially way more dangerous than anyone expected. Okay, so Young-hyuk is unleashing some serious power, and a golden energy is exploding outward. It's insane. The energy forms a massive, swirling ring around him, but it feels less ascension and more imprisonment, honestly. Suddenly, a huge slash sound effect. Someone is cutting through all that energy like it's nothing. The attack intensifies, and a shimmering blue wave crashes into the golden ring, disrupting the whole ritual. Everything goes white, and Young-hyuk is enveloped in the blast, but he's not down. He's actually absorbing it. He's channeling the energy, and the patterns around him shift, becoming darker and more menacing. The ground cracks and a deep rumble echoes. This isn't just power, it's a seismic event. This dude is trying to maintain his stance, but he's clearly struggling, legs buckling under the pressure. He swings his sword again, leaving a bloody trail on the grass. It's brutal, and something's definitely hit. He's breathing heavily, covered in sweat, but still standing. Our boy is seriously pushing his limits right now. Young-hyuk is launching himself forward, straight into the golden energy. No hesitation, this dude is all in. He's plummeting, surrounded by lightning, and looks absolutely furious, like a dark angel descending. The blonde guy is bracing for impact, a golden aura flaring around him, but it's clearly not enough. Young-hyuk shouts for him to come closer, and honestly, it feels less like a request and more like a threat. The blonde guy is desperately trying to hold the energy ring together, but Young-hyuk is tearing through it. He's gaining speed, a blue vortex forming around him, and it's clear he's absorbing all that energy. Young-hyuk smirks, a chilling grin spreading across his face. This isn't a fight, it's a hunt. He's accelerating, leaving sonic booms in his wake, and the blonde guy is getting smaller and smaller. Blonde guy tries to defend, but Young-hyuk just blasts through his attack. It's a total power mismatch. Young-hyuk lands, a massive shockwave erupting, and the blonde guy is sent flying. This is brutal, bro. Young-hyuk's sword cleaves through the golden energy, and it's like 1,000 hands erupt to stop him. He's surrounded by these glowing hands, but he doesn't even flinch. It's seriously intimidating. The blonde dude is getting wrecked, thrown around like a rag doll as the hands pummel him relentlessly. Two onlookers are staring in disbelief. They have no idea what's happening, and honestly, who could blame them? Young-hyuk is unleashing some serious power, his sword glowing, and the hands are starting to crack. No way. The blonde guy screams as his arm breaks, but Young-hyuk just keeps pressing forward, a terrifying force of nature. These hands are identified as the 1,000 Hands of Avalokitesvara, which sounds way more complicated than it needs to be. He's absorbing the power of the hands, channeling it into his sword. This is getting wilder and wilder. The blonde guy is completely overwhelmed, another bone snapping, and it's brutal straight up. Young-hyuk finishes his attack and the hands shatter. This dude just demolished a divine defense, no sweat. Young-hyuk lands a devastating blow, and the blonde guy is left reeling. Totally wrecked, bro. A mysterious voice booms, declaring Young-hyuk the strongest incarnation of soul, but the blonde dude is too out of it to care. Young-hyuk turns on a dime, stepping forward with purpose. He's hunting someone, and it's intense. He's moving at impossible speeds, a blur on the rooftop, and honestly, it's kinda scary. Young-hyuk calls out Saeon, his voice cutting through the night. He knows exactly who he's after. He demands Saeon come out, claiming he knows she's watching. This dude isn't playing games. A swirling vortex of dark energy appears before Young-hyuk, crackling with power. No way, this is good. Young-hyuk stares right into the vortex, seemingly unfazed. This guy is seriously fearless. Sparks fly as the vortex intensifies, a chaotic display of energy, and it's building to something huge. But the blonde guy is still down, and Young-hyuk doesn't even glance at him, cold-blooded straight up. Young-hyuk's got a new constellation, Abyssal Black Flame Dragon, and it's flexing straight up. He's calling Saeon out, saying there's no way she just watch without interfering. This dude is direct. The dragon roars, and Young-hyuk is having fun watching the chaos, but someone questions why he's just standing there. A voice demands to know why he isn't completing the scenario, like hello, priorities. Someone asks who the strongest one is and they're thinking Yoongyuk. No way, the response comes quick. They're zeroing in on another player, but Yoongyuk isn't having it. He's not letting anyone else take the spotlight. However, someone else thinks it's Yoongyuk, and Yoongyuk just shuts that down immediately. He's in control. Okay, so things are bad. Someone just straight up stabs Yoongyuk and it looks serious. There's this sickening sound effect, Dokja, and you can feel the weight of it. This isn't a glancing blow. He's bleeding out, thinking this is how it ends. No way, our boy isn't going down like this. Lee Ji-hai is right there, all geared up and ready to fight, looking intense and focused. Yoongyuk's struggling, but he's trying to ask why. What's the point of all this? He's wondering if he's going to die here, but then he starts thinking about becoming the third strongest. This dude is seriously messed up. He's willing to let himself get stabbed to get stronger, honestly. Lee Ji-hai is staring down at him, face grim, clearly weighing her options and feeling conflicted. It looks like she's gonna help him, applying pressure to the wound. Maybe there's still hope. But she's also looking at him with this intense expression, like she's questioning all his choices. Yoongyuk asked Lee Ji-hai to stab him, and now he's lying there, poking at the wound like it's no big deal, but he's clearly worried. Suddenly, the floor just gives way. They both plummet into some kind of hidden chamber below. Everything's shaking and a massive structure starts forming. It's a ranking system, apparently, and Yoongyuk is gloating. He's saying only the top 3 remain, and honestly, it's kinda creepy how much he enjoys everyone being scared. Yoongyuk smirks, promising to reveal the ranking in a moment, and his face is just unsettling. The ranking system explodes into view, all shimmering blue energy, and it's seriously intense. We get these little message boxes revealing what other constellations are thinking. Apparently, some are freaking out. Some golden figure is launched forward with a poof, and it looks like they're about to get wrecked. Yoongyuk leaps into action, sword extended, and the energy around them is going wild. Everything crashes together with another huge crash, and this fight is about to get real. Yoongyuk straight up falling apart using that giant transformation skill, but it's clearly hurting him bad. His master warned him never to use it until his stats hit 3 digits, and bro totally ignored that. He remembers the warning, but it's too late. He's already pushing himself way too hard. Suddenly, a golden figure, Yoongyuk, appears, yelling Yoongyuk's name. No way, this is a surprise. Yoongyuk declares he can't keep walking this path if Yoongyuk puts everything into this skill. It's intense. Yoongyuk grunts, clearly struggling as the blue energy engulfs him. This is getting out of control. He's being blasted backwards by a wave of energy, and it looks like he's losing control of his transformation. The battlefield is chaos, filled with shimmering blue energy and glowing, ornate patterns. It's a visual overload. Hands are reaching out from the energy, ghostly and translucent, as if trying to hold Yoongyuk together. More hands appear surrounding Yoongyuk in a desperate attempt to stabilize him, but is it enough? Yoongyuk's convinced he can kill this dude, Yoongyuk, and it's kinda terrifying how easily he says it. He's remembering how Dokja helped him get some melee skills, but it's too late to think about that now. Yoongyuk swings his sword and Yoongyuk unleashes a massive blast of energy. It's a straight-up clash of titans. The energy explodes, sending cracks spiderwebbing across everything, and Yoongyuk yells out in pain. Yoongyuk keeps pushing, declaring he can kill him, even as his mental barrier is reaching its limit. Suddenly, Yoongyuk flinches, eyes wide, and it's clear something's seriously wrong with his mind. We get a close-up of his eye, and honestly, it's unsettling. It's like something's taken over. Yoongyuk collapses, head lolling, and it looks like he's completely lost consciousness. No way. A spark of energy flies from Yoongyuk, hitting Yoongyuk, and it's a desperate last-ditch effort. Everything goes dark, and our boy is totally out. This is bad, really bad. Yoongyuk's mind is a mess, convinced vaccine was meant for Nirvana's infection, but why would it fail now? He's falling, sword clattering down, and Yoongyuk's energy is wrapping around him like glowing vines. This dude Yoongyuk is claiming 108 worries are attacking Yoongyuk's mind, some kind of mental torture, apparently. We're seeing these swirling, iridescent bubbles inside Yoongyuk's head, and honestly, it looks super trippy. Yoongyuk is sitting there all serene, while Yoongyuk's advanced mental barrier is collapsing. Not good. Yoongyuk shouts that he's the only one who understands Yoongyuk, which is a major red flag if you ask me. Yoongyuk is curled up, looking totally defeated, and this dude is really starting to crack under the pressure. He's questioning everything, asking if this is the end for him. It's a dark moment, bro. Close up on Junghyuk's eye, and it's completely distorted, glitching like a broken video game. Junghyuk is declaring he won't abandon this round, refusing to let things end here. Talk about stubborn. Suddenly, a spectral figure appears, towering over Junghyuk, and it's all glowy and ominous. This ethereal being claims this world might be the only place Junghyuk can finish his story as a human. It's a serious threat. This world could disappear, and Junghyuk with it, if he gives up now. Junghyuk is totally rattled, questioning if he's truly going to let it all end like this. He's flashing back, seeing images of his past, and it's clearly messing with his head. A sinister smile spreads across the spectral figure's face, and it's super unsettling, honestly. The figure is showing off a twisted, almost predatory grin, and it's sending chills down my spine. Junghyuk's eyes are glowing, and he's regaining some composure. Thank goodness he's fighting back. He's staring intensely, determined to push through, and this dude is about to unleash everything he's got. Okay, so the system just drops a bomb. Nirvana, the leader of the Salvation Church, is the second strongest in Seoul Dome. No way. Suddenly, everything starts shaking, and this dude straight up yells, "What the hell is this? Things are clearly going south." Everyone's freaking out, asking who the strongest is, because if Nirvana isn't number one, Dokja's predictions are totally wrong. Then bam, a monster crashes through a building, and it's absolute chaos. Rubble is flying everywhere, and people are screaming. The monsters reach the crowd, and everyone's panicking. It's a full-blown disaster unfolding right before their eyes. This dude tries to fight it off, but the monster is massive. He's completely overwhelmed and getting tossed around like a rag doll. People are running for their lives, dodging debris, but honestly, it doesn't look good. The situation is spiraling out of control. Our boy is losing it. If Nirvana isn't the strongest, everything Dokja planned is messed up, and he's clearly stressed about it. Someone asks what they're gonna do now, but everyone is just exhausted and staring blankly. They're completely lost. He's breathing heavily, totally defeated, and it's clear this unexpected turn of events has thrown everyone for a loop. Nirvana's totally losing it, screaming about how he endured so much suffering, but it's kinda pathetic, tbh. He's getting absolutely wrecked, covered in blood, and still insists he won't die. The audacity. Dokja steps forward, looking down at Nirvana, and just drops the bomb. He actually wants to die. Nirvana tries to fight back, but Dokja's already anticipating his moves. This dude is seriously messed up. Dokja explains that Nirvana's been manipulating everything to reach this point, even embracing pain for it. He reveals Nirvana's ultimate goal, to become a god by absorbing all the constellation's power, which is wild. But here's the twist. Dokja knew this was coming because, of course, he read the novel. Our boy is always prepared. Dokja calls Nirvana's suffering a joke, saying he wasted all that pain for nothing. Brutal but true. Nirvana's enraged, trying to attack, but Dokja just effortlessly blocks him. This fight is totally one-sided. Dokja declares he'll end Nirvana's suffering right now, and honestly, it's about time. This guy deserves it. Nirvana's laying it all out. He wanted to experience death through others, living vicariously through their lives. He wanted to share their emotions, become one with them, and it's seriously creepy, tbh. But then, a new player enters the chat. The black-haired dude straight up tells Nirvana to get off his high horse. He drops some knowledge bombs about reincarnation being a powerful stigma, needing an even stronger constellation to undo it. Nirvana is looking extra defeated, realizing he's been outplayed, and our boy is reading him like an open book. He admits he underestimated Nirvana, but honestly, this dude was playing 4D chess the entire time. Nirvana is reeling, and it's clear Dokja's revelation has shattered everything he thought he knew. Dokja just casually points out how Nirvana wasted all his suffering, and it's brutal but completely deserved. Nirvana tries to rally, but Dokja's blocking every attack like it's nothing. This fight is hilariously one-sided. Dokja declares he's ending Nirvana's suffering now, and finally, someone is putting this guy down. Nirvana's going OFF, promising to revive endlessly and make Dokja's friends suffer. It's a total threat fest. He reveals he enjoyed torturing Dokja's mother, and bro, that's a new low, even for this guy. Dokja drops a bomb. He knew Nirvana had met his mother, and suddenly, things get weird. The system's glitching, saying Dokja's breaking the fourth wall. No way is this a meta moment. Nirvana admits he relished making her submit, and honestly, this dude is repulsive. He claims there's nothing he likes more than corrupting honorable people. Talk about a villain origin story. Dokja's face is all intense, and Nirvana is just smirking like he's completely in control. But wait, Dokja asks if he actually met his mother, and the system's glitching even harder. What's happening? The fourth wall is officially shaking, and it's clear Dokja's knowledge is messing with reality itself. Nirvana is getting desperate, but Dokja's still calm, like he's got a whole other level of understanding going on. Dokja's got Nirvana pinned, claiming he's finally got the upper hand, but this dude is straight up laughing. Nirvana starts rambling about how Dokja's mother squirmed, and honestly, the creep factor is off the charts. He says she begged for her life, and Dokja's face, bro, he's about to lose it. Dokja declares he knows that's a lie, and the system's glitching even harder. This is getting wild. Nirvana's trying to play it cool, but Dokja's intense stare is making him sweat, you can tell. The fourth wall is shaking violently, and it's clear Dokja is breaking the story itself. No way. Nirvana's cornered, realizing Dokja is not playing by the rules, and it's beautiful to watch. Dokja's pushing, demanding Nirvana explain what really happened with his mother. Nirvana's completely losing control, and Dokja's just standing there, radiating power. He says he can just leave everything behind, but they're desperate for him to save them. But Dokja hears voices, and it's clear he's remembering something huge, a crucial piece of the puzzle. Then Yoongyok suddenly appears, ecstatic that Dokja has finally accepted him. What is going on? Yoongyok gets up close, and his eyes, they are glowing orange, and he's looking right through Dokja. He's smiling, a creepy, knowing smile, and honestly, this is unsettling even for us. Yoongyok claims he's been waiting for this moment, and it's clear he's about to drop a major truth bomb. Dokja's expression is unreadable, but you can feel the tension building. This is a showdown for sure. And just like that, Yoongyok has accepted Dokja, signaling a huge shift in the story. No way. Okay, so things are insane right now. Our boy Dokja is floating, surrounded by these glowing hands like he's ascending or something. But wait, this massive beast, some kind of golden lion dragon thing, is freaking out, clearly sensing something is off. This monster just felt a huge attack, but it didn't actually hit it, which is super weird and makes it even angrier. It's saying if they were in the real world, it would be torn to pieces, but the space they're in is protecting it, kinda. However, that protection isn't perfect, and the beast is still reeling, trembling from whatever just happened. Then boom, Dokja drops a bombshell. He's currently controlling Yoongyok's body, like a full-on possession. That means they're actually inside Yoongyok's soul right now. No way. This is getting wilder by the second. And it doesn't stop there. Dokja isn't just controlling Yoongyok, he's also in control of his OWN soul, doubling down on the chaos. He's basically saying he's got a double-layered consciousness going on, and honestly, that's a power move. This dude is playing 4D chess with souls, and I'm here for it, but I have a feeling this is about to get even more complicated. Dokja's breaking through layers of reality, straight up shattering the fourth wall. It's the barrier between the story and us. He's walking through this endless sea of text, the entire story literally unfolding around him, but something's changing. The papers start swirling, turning into these chaotic energy streams, and Dokja realizes something massive is about to happen. Dokja shouts, this is the fourth wall, and a surge of power explodes. It's intense. Sparks fly everywhere, the energy is building, and it's clear whatever Dokja is doing is really messing things up. The energy concentrates on Yoongyok, who's screaming for Dokja to stop, but our boy isn't listening. He's pushing forward. Yoongyok's body begins to disintegrate, consumed by this chaotic energy, and Dokja's face is a mix of determination and regret. Let me out now, Yoongyok roars, but it's too late. Something is breaking free from within him, and it looks terrifying. Whatever it is, it's huge, dark, and radiating power, and Yoongyok is losing control, demanding to know what Dokja has done. Dokja stares back, completely serious, as the entity fully emerges, and honestly, this is a game changer. Dokja reveals that if he keeps reincarnating, he can erase this world from existence. No way. He's saying Yoongyok will be able to end everything, but it's a threat, not a promise. The energy crackles around them, and Yoongyok demands to know how Dokja knows all this. But Yumi-Yok's face contorts in horror. He realizes Dokja wasn't lying about erasing the world. Yumi-Yok screams "wait," but it's too late. The energy fully consumes him. This entity that emerges is terrifying, a monstrous figure born from the story itself. And honestly, this dude had it coming, messing with forces he didn't understand. The entity is huge and powerful, and Yumi-Yok is completely overtaken, losing control fast. Dokja stares it down, completely unfazed, which is seriously impressive at this point. The entity roars, and it's clear this isn't just a monster, it's something far more ancient. Dokja just drops the ultimate bomb, "Die here." Straight up cold, bro, no hesitation. We get a flashback to a conversation about why the scenario even exists. It's kinda deep. Constellation, Queen of the Darkest Spring, asks a weird question about food. Honestly, what does that even mean? Then a spark ignites amidst the darkness, a tiny flicker of hope or maybe destruction. From appears on the screen, and it's clear something massive is about to happen. Dokja declares he can erase this world in nirvana, and the reincarnator has finally reached his end. The entity lets out a maniacal laugh, and honestly, that's not a sound anyone wants to hear. Dokja realizes this is what dying feels like. No way, that's heavy. Nirvana understands this is the moment they've been waiting for, which is ominous to say the least. Their arms fade away effortlessly, and honestly, it's terrifyingly anticlimactic. Dokja demands to know the story Nirvana's mother never told them, and suddenly, things get personal. Nirvana finally understands, and it's something Dokja always wanted. What does that mean? Nirvana tries to reject this fate, screaming they don't want it, but it's too late. However, their desperate plea is cut short as everything disintegrates, falling apart piece by piece. Dokja knows this story and he's declaring it, but what does this mean for everyone involved? This dude is straight up erasing this world in nirvana. It's a full-on power move. Nirvana, desperate and broken, blurts out they don't want to die. It's a heartbreaking confession. But Dokja's already rewriting reality, and Nirvana's words are fading into nothingness, dissolving around them. Everything is breaking apart, glitching out, and honestly, it's visually insane, a total power display. Dokja's own body begins to disintegrate, and he's clearly feeling the strain of wielding this much power. The power intensifies, and we see flashes of Dokja's face contorted with effort, sparks flying everywhere. However, as the world around them collapses, Dokja's eyes snap open, revealing a shocking realization. He's stunned, completely caught off guard, and it's clear whatever he just realized is a major game changer. Dokja's jaw drops and the panel ends on a cliffhanger. What did he see? We need answers now. The fourth wall is completely consumed, and it's targeting Nirvana Mobius, straight up erasing her existence. But Dokja realizes something's different this time. The wall's reaction isn't like when he defeated the theater dungeon boss. Everyone's reeling, straight up devastated because Dokja Kim, the main character, is gone. They're mourning the strongest player in Seoul Dome. But hold up, a system message pops up. A new main scenario is starting soon. No time to grieve, apparently. They now have to continue living in this world without Dokja, which is rough. Everyone looks completely lost. This dude, Yoo Young-hyuk, is standing tall, looking strangely calm amidst the chaos, like he's got a plan. He's reflecting on how if this was the original web novel, something like this would be revealed on the pages. People are calling for Dokja, but Yoo Young-hyuk is clearly thinking about something else entirely. He's watching everyone mourn, and honestly, he's a little touched they're so sad to see Dokja go. Yoo Young-hyuk reveals he's able to view everything from a third-person observer's perspective. Kinda creepy, TBH. But here's the kicker, he has the 8 lives attribute which lets him resurrect, but it's on a 72-hour cooldown. He earned this attribute by giving up being the king of no killing in Peaceland, and it's about to be put to the test. Yoo Young-hyuk explains that each of Yamada no Orochi's heads has a special ability, and he can earn one upon resurrection. The first head is sacrificed, and its ability, popularity. Seriously, what is this, a popularity contest? 24-hour cooldown timer appears, meaning Yoo Young-hyuk can't just spam resurrect and fix everything right away. He calmly states there's still a whole day to go and the next scenario is about to begin, even with everyone grieving. Someone cries out in anguish while another person, seemingly injured, is helped by a teammate. A man tries to comfort the injured teammate, but it's clear they are both devastated by Dokja's death. The group begins burying Dokja, a grim scene unfolding in the pouring rain. It's super depressing, honestly. Yoo Young-hyuk watches the funeral, seemingly detached, but you can tell he's processing everything too. Another character sobs, clearly heartbroken, and leans on a teammate for support. It's a lot. Yoo Young-hyuk's looking at the funeral, but bro is deaf, planning something big. He's not just standing there. Someone just slices up Yoo Young-hyuk, straight up attacks him out of nowhere. But it's not a fatal blow, he's barely grazed and everyone's freaking out. Suddenly, the ghost of Dokja appears, looking all ethereal and glowing. Someone shouts, "Mr. Yu." They're totally confused by Dokja's ghost showing up. Yoo Young-hyuk pulls out a gun and it clicks. He's ready for round 2, apparently. Then the bomb drops, someone blurts out that Dokja is dead. No way. But Yoo Young-hyuk's all like, nah, he'll come back to life, super nonchalant about it. Everyone's shocked and asking how, but Yoo Young-hyuk has no clue. Dokja's ghost looks confused, saying he doesn't know how either. What is going on? Yoo Young-hyuk's still staring at the ghost, and you can tell he's got a plan brewing. Yoo Young-hyuk demands to know where Dokja's family is, and someone whispers about Dokja's mother. Oh no. Suddenly, a figure lunges at Yoo Young-hyuk, but it's not an attack, it's a desperate grab for help. Yoo Young-hyuk stares down at himself. Another version of him is floating there, all ghostly and weird. He mutters Sangha, and it's clear this dude is losing it, like seriously losing it. The screen flashes a warning. Dokja's mental energy is completely depleted, and his omniscient reader ability is failing. Yoo Young-hyuk's losing control, shouting "damn it, not now," while holding onto the ghostly version of himself. He explains that being in soul form is brutal. Mental energy doesn't recover easily, apparently. The longer he's out of his body, the more his mind unravels, and it's basically the same reason ghosts go insane. And then the big question, would Nirvana have killed his mother? It's a heavy thought, man. Dokja's spirit is fading and he's clearly spiraling, but he needs answers before he's gone. Dokja's spiraling seriously. He's starting to think his mom is still alive, and it's messing with his head. He's begging Yoo Young-hyuk to think about it, reminding him Nirvana doesn't just off people quickly, it tortures them. Suddenly, a wall of text appears, and it's all about his mother's secret, something Yoo Young-hyuk already knows. Yoo Young-hyuk insists he can't tell Dokja, but then admits maybe he doesn't want to either, which is sus. The screen explodes with blue light and a notification pops up. Constellation, Master of Abydos, is calling for your soul. What? Yoo Young-hyuk is freaking out and the system keeps piling on. Another constellation wants his soul. This is getting intense. He asks what Master of Abydos even is and remembers it's the ancient Egyptian capital city, so history time. But hold up, another notification. Nebula Papyrus wants to give him the story of resurrection, and Dokja is confused as heck. Dokja demands to know what's happening, and the system throws another message at him. Constellation, Scribe of Heaven, is calling for your soul. No way. Yoo Young-hyuk is totally losing it, yelling even Metatron. Apparently, even the big guys want a piece of his soul. Dokja is reeling, realizing all these constellations want to resurrect him, but not for a good reason. He straight up figures out they want to reenact their myths through him, using his body as a vessel. The constellations start arguing, accusing each other of trying to steal their stories. It's a total mess. Yoo Young-hyuk's expression is intense and honestly a little creepy. He's definitely hiding something. Dokja understands they don't just want him alive, they want to force their narratives onto him. Suddenly, a bunch of ghostly figures appear, and they're all yelling, "I am Dokja Kim." What is going on? They're surrounding him, shouting about blessings, and then whoosh, he's lifted into the air. He's floating above his own grave, and these ghostly figures are celebrating. This is wild. But it's not a celebration for Dokja, because these are all the versions of himself from other timelines. Okay, so this dude, Kim Dokja, is getting pulled into what looks like a fancy carriage, and a voice just tells him to hop in. Everyone's worried he's about to use his true voice, which apparently is super powerful, but they're in a symbolic realm now. They think this carriage is the sun god Helio's ride, which is a big deal because, like, sun gods are kinda important. Inside, there's a glass of wine chilling, and our boy is immediately suspicious, and honestly, good for him. Suddenly, the voice from the carriage asks if he even recognizes him, and a message pops up. Constellation, god of alcohol, is disappointed. Kim Dokja asks Dionysus, and bam, lightning starts flying around, shattering the wine glass. straight up chaos. Sparks are everywhere and the carriage is getting wrecked, but our boy barely flinches, which is impressive. Turns out the golden figure outside isn't showing his true form, it's just a symbolic appearance to save power. Even with the fourth wall broken, Kim Dokja is seriously worried about seeing a constellation's actual form. It's apparently terrifying. This dude is terrified of the true form of a god, and honestly, we feel him. No way is that gonna be pretty. Okay, so Dionysus is straight up questioning Kim Dokja about what he did in the underworld. Talk about awkward. Kim Dokja thanks Dionysus for helping him before, but Dionysus wants to know exactly what he was up to. Someone overhears and spills that the queen tried protecting Kim Dokja from the nebula. That's a big deal. Dionysus is now probing, asking if Kim Dokja had a thing with the queen, and splash, wine goes everywhere. Dionysus is going hard, suggesting the queen is still pretty sexy even if she's older, but someone cuts him off. They call him out, isn't the queen his mother? This dude is digging his own grave. Kim Dokja asks if he's saying the story about his mother is a lie, and honestly, the tension is insane. He denies it, but Dionysus isn't buying it, giving Kim Dokja a seriously intense look. Dionysus warns him not to give that look, saying it's taboo in Olympus, things are about to get real. Right well on the topic, Dionysus reveals he sent Kim Dokja a message. Apparently, the god of alcohol wants to have a chat. Kim Dokja denies being the story of Bacchus, and Dionysus is not happy with his attitude. Dionysus straight up compares him to Eden and Veda, and things are escalating quickly. This is a power play. Dionysus boasts about the resurrected Messiah story and then casually drops that Bacchus has priestesses, and he's lived his whole life as a virgin. He declares the story of Bacchus is awesome, promising parties and infinite wine, but Kim Dokja is unimpressed. Dionysus then drops a bomb. He overheard someone saying Kim Dokja might be into men. No way. Dionysus is clearly trying to gauge Kim Dokja's reaction, but our boy isn't giving him anything. Dionysus asks if Kim Dokja really came to see him, but he insists he came to convince Dionysus to join their side. But Dionysus is skeptical. Is that all Kim Dokja wants? The tension is building, bro. Dionysus questions whether Kim Dokja is just trying to play him, and honestly, that's a fair point. Kim Dokja asks if Dionysus thinks he's lying, and the glare he gives is intense. This dude is serious. Dionysus admits he didn't want Kim Dokja to join Olympus. He's here for something else entirely. Dionysus suddenly attacks, sending a wave of energy towards Kim Dokja. It's a total surprise move. Kim Dokja gets blasted back, and wait, he wets himself. No way, that's gotta be embarrassing. The attack sends the wine glass flying, shattering everywhere. This is escalating fast. Dionysus is furious, claiming he borrowed this carriage from Helios and needs it back in one piece. Suddenly, multiple nebulas appear, surrounding them. Other gods are coming for Kim Dokja, apparently. A huge golden horse bursts through the nebulas, neighing wildly. It's straight up majestic, but terrifying. The carriage is getting obliterated, and Dionysus yells at Kim Dokja, saying this won't do at all. He's letting Kim Dokja go for now so he can finish running. That's a little too easy, right? But Dionysus is clearly still watching, and honestly, this whole situation feels like a trap. Kim Dokja tells Dionysus to go to the banquet without him, promising to try and stop the other gods. He adds a warning: no nebulas are allowed to follow him, and he just needs to remember that one thing. Dionysus seems to consider it for a second, but then asks if that includes himself. Total power move. Suddenly, everything explodes, the carriage is wrecked, and Dionysus is sending off massive energy blasts. The golden horses are getting hit, the whole scene is pure chaos, and Dionysus is yelling at Kim Dokja. But then Dionysus lets Kim Dokja go, telling him to run and finish going to the banquet. Sketchy, right? Dionysus is still watching, and our boy realizes he's completely alone. Anyone. The scene cuts to a wide shot of the night sky and a massive, beautiful castle in the clouds. It's the banquet hall, and it looks straight up intimidating, like a fortress floating among the stars. Kim Dokja is getting closer, but honestly, this feels like he's running right into a trap. Kim Dokja is sprinting towards the banquet hall, tears streaming down his face. It's intense, bro. He's almost at the massive doors when suddenly, a tiny, chibi version of himself drops from the sky. This little Kim Dokja is floating there looking seriously unimpressed, and honestly, it's kinda cute. But wait, another minute Dokja appears, hovering right beside the first one. What is happening? Little Dokja yells that he wasn't told an incarnation was coming to the banquet alone, and this dude is not happy. Kim Dokja realizes the carriage of the sun was his pass into the banquet, but it's all falling apart now. Dokja finally catches his breath after whatever just happened and immediately asks where the heck Bihyun went. They are in this massive, ornate hallway. Seriously, the set design is insane, and then Bihyun just appears. It's Bihyun, all right, but a tiny, creepy, horned Bihyun who straight up announces the Queen sent her. Bihyun asks if Dokja wasn't supposed to come here with someone else, and this dude is already confused. Dokja explains things happened, which is an understatement, and warns Bihyun this is way more serious than she thinks. He's trying to figure out what Bihyun is doing out here alone, basically if she's looking for a death wish. Bihyun says the queen is sending an envoy to pick him up, but Dokja's like, wait, the waiting room. And then Bihyun gets super intense, yelling at Dokja not to take his eyes off whatever she's looking at. Close up on Bihyun, and honestly, those red eyes are terrifying, full of sharp teeth and pure menace. She's practically growling, and Dokja is clearly realizing something is very wrong with this situation. Dokja's shocked. Apparently, he's not the only incarnation here, and Bihyun is seriously worried. A door creaks open, and Dokja realizes someone else is already in the room, and they're watching him. Bihyun drops a bomb. This dude, Young-hyuk, has been using regression to manipulate things. Young-hyuk's got this smug look on his face, and Dokja immediately knows he's trouble. Dokja questions Young-hyuk, and it's clear he's been planning something big for a while now. Young-hyuk casually admits he's been attending the Constellation Banquet. No way, this is getting intense. He straight up says he's been cheating the constellations with his regression powers. Our boy Dokja is not impressed. Apparently, Young-hyuk was always on the guest list. However, it wasn't for a friendly visit, it was to scheme. Dokja's totally realizing Young-hyuk is a major player, and this dude is playing a dangerous game. The scene shifts, and it's clear Dokja is now fully aware of the gravity of the situation. Things are about to explode. Okay, so it turns out this whole banquet is run by several countries, a total power play. We get a quick rundown of the domes: Seoul, Washington, Moscow, New Delhi, and more, basically secret bases. Someone notes there's a presentation happening, highlighting the domes with the most progress. Suspicious, right? Dokja and Young-hyuk are cornered, and someone asks what they're even doing here. They both give vague answers. Young-hyuk says he's here for the same reason as Dokja, but then adds he'll probably leave tomorrow. So shady. Dokja's getting seriously intense, staring Young-hyuk down, and Young-hyuk just smiles back. Creepy. Dokja demands to know why Young-hyuk is here, and Young-hyuk calmly admits he's been using regression powers. He's been manipulating the constellations for a while, and honestly, this dude is straight up insane. Young-hyuk reveals he was always invited to the banquet, but not to enjoy it, to play his own game. Dokja finally understands how big this is, and things are about to go down. No way this ends well. Okay, so the White Rabbit thing is giving a speech, claiming half of his achievements are thanks to an incarnation. He's dedicating half the honor to this mysterious person, and Young-hyuk is straight up losing it. But wait, the rabbit announces he's dedicating the other half to a child who will be born soon. What? Dokja's jaw drops, realizing this is about the child of the Demon King. No way this is a coincidence. Rabbit is totally acting like he's in on something big, and Young-hyuk is furiously searching for something. Young-hyuk's rummaging around looking for a way to interfere, but he's clearly panicking. This is intense. The rabbit keeps talking about the future child, and Dokja's finally connecting the dots. Young-hyuk asked him to watch the feed. Young-hyuk's been using this whole event to find out about the Demon King's kid, and honestly, that's messed up. Dokja's thinking back to all the regression, all the manipulations. Young-hyuk is a master strategist. But Dokja's not backing down. He's determined to figure out what Young-hyuk is planning, and things are about to get real. Young-hyuk is losing his mind, demanding to know what Dokja's done. Apparently, it's bad. Dokja calmly asks Young-hyuk if he knows who he is, straight up dropping his name, Kim Dokja. Then Selena Kim walks in, and Young-hyuk's face falls. He didn't expect her to show up first. Selena asks Dokja if he knows her, but she's clearly sizing him up, and he's giving her the side eye. She admits she only knows of him, but she's heard enough, and Dokja's thinking this is weird. Selena extends her hand and they shake. She represents America, and she's also heard about him. Suddenly, a character profile for Selena Kim pops up, revealing she's a supporting constellation. The profile lists her as Ender of Wars, which is a huge title, and the system is only showing selected info. Dokja realizes Yoonhyuk invited him to this banquet not for enjoyment, but for a specific reason. Dokja understands now things are about to go down, and no way this ends well for anyone involved. Yoonhyuk reveals Anna Croft was supposed to have an attribute that lets you kill people, but she doesn't anymore. He asks if Dokja knows Anna, and bro, he only met her in a dream. This is getting weirder by the second. Selena chimes in saying Anna wanted to come, and if she'd known Dokja was here, she definitely would have. Dokja's internal monologue is strong. He's glad she isn't here. Things would get way more complicated. Selena wants Dokja to tell that woman to watch out for herself, and Yoonhyuk is looking intense. Dokja's face is unreadable, but Selena suddenly blurts out that he's just as Anna said he'd be, Yoonhyuk. She drops a bombshell. Yoonhyuk was betrayed by Anna in the last round, and Anna knows what she did. Okay, so they're getting briefed on the first floor. It's totally dedicated to historical constellations, which is kinda cool. Selena Kim, the king's guardian, is giving the orders, and she looks intense. She's clearly in charge here. The place is massive, like a freaking ballroom, but it's filled with weapons and artifacts, a total armory. We see swords, maces, books, even a deer head. It's a weird mix of treasures and battle gear, honestly. But things are about to get wild because the constellations start appearing as ghostly figures, flooding the room. The room is now covered in ghostly projections, and it looks like they're scanning everything, analyzing the weapons. No way it's a full-on assessment. They're checking out every single item like they're choosing weapons for a fight. Selena's getting serious, directing the team, and you can tell something big is about to go down in this place. Wait, Selena has scars on her neck. That's new. This dude's getting a serious backstory reveal. I can feel it. She's the king's guardian, and straight up, she's ready for war. This is gonna be epic, you guys. Okay, so this mysterious guy strolls in, and everyone's instantly like, who is this? Turns out it's Dokja Kim from Korea, and the constellations recognize him immediately. Someone mispronounces his name as Dokja Kim, which means to kneel and bow. It's hilarious but also ominous. The crowd erupts shouting Dokja Kim and Dokja Kim. It's a total frenzy. They're calling him the king of the world without kings, which is a seriously intense title. People are whistling and cheering, saying he's the one who fought against a miracle. What did this guy do? This bold army general recognizes him too and is all like, do you remember me? He's got a history with Dokja. The general says he enjoyed watching Dokja, and it's creepy AF, honestly. What's going on here? Someone else calls out saying Dokja isn't as ugly as they thought, rude, but also relatable. Our boy Dokja is straight up famous and everyone's losing it, but I have a feeling this attention isn't a good thing. Everyone's clapping and shouting you're the best Supreme King. It's a total hype train. A fight breaks out, swords clashing, and honestly it's chaotic AF, but Dokja seems unfazed. Dokja's looking good, and someone points it out. He's owning this whole scene, no cap. He calmly states Yoonhyuk is also popular, but then someone calls out, hey, what's happening? This woman in a fur coat arrives, and she's giving off major don't mess with me vibes. She warns them not to act rashly if they want to live. She's known as the war god of the Red Square. She casually corrects people calling her the war god. This woman is powerful. Someone asks what's going on, and a message pops up saying a few constellations are amazed by Dokja's judgment. The woman in fur is shocked. Apparently they were streaming everything. She's furious they thought the stream would stop just because they're in the world of the constellations. How naive. Okay, so someone explains the historical constellations are on the first floor, but the good stuff is upstairs. Dokja's immediately like, I need to be careful. He's thinking ahead, which is good because Dionysus warned him about something, and Dokja is determined to figure out why. Suddenly, a woman taps him on the shoulder, and she is giving off major trouble vibes. She's all dressed up, but her face is hidden, super suspicious, right? And honestly, a little creepy. She asks if he's Lady of the Sleeping Brigade, and Dokja's like, wait, do I know you? No way, she recognizes him and she's so happy he remembers her. This is getting interesting. She confirms he's right and Dokja's mind is clearly racing. What's the connection here? Dokja's walking, looking around, and he's definitely feeling uneasy. Something's off about this whole situation. He's moving through the room, but it's like the world is speeding up around him. What's going on? Okay, so Dokja spots an eye patch and instantly clocks this guy as one-eyed Maitreya, with great King Humu lurking behind him. Then 101 coin just floats toward Dokja. Seriously floats, it's kinda creepy, NGL. The coin gets closer and Dokja realizes it's got the face of Admiral Yi Sun-sin on it, a total Korean legend. This dude greets Dokja with "it's nice to see you," but Dokja is confused, like who even is this guy? The man is seriously disappointed Dokja doesn't recognize him, and honestly, the vibe is off. He gives Dokja a super intense stare, that eye is piercing. What is he hiding? The man's face is partially cut off, but we see 100 written on his suit. That's gotta be a clue. The coin floats even closer, and we get a clear look at Admiral Yi Sun-sin's face. It's a full-on historical reveal. Narration drops a bomb. Admiral Yi Sun-sin is a major war hero in Korea, so this is a big deal. Dokja's still processing everything, but it's clear this meeting is anything but a coincidence. The man explains symbolic forms usually take after what they're most known for. It's kinda like a spirit animal thing. Dokja realizes this dude is in the same boat as him, somehow connected to figures from the novel. But wait, Dokja notices the coin. It should be a turtle ship, Admiral Yi's iconic warship. Dokja blurts out the question and the man just stares at him, totally unamused. The man is straight up offended Dokja doesn't know this basic info. The tension is thick. He reveals he also has a statue of himself in Gwangwoman, like Dokja knows. Talk about ego. Dokja's shocked. How could he not know this guy? It's a total mind bender. However, the man's expression suggests there's way more to this than just historical facts. Okay, so things are intense right now. The judges are laying down the law, demanding no conflict. But someone, a powerful figure, is straight up ignoring them, unleashing this dark energy. This dude yells enough, silencing everyone and drawing all eyes on him. He's calling out Goryeo's top swordsman, telling him to get his act together and behave. Then, out of nowhere, he addresses Dokja Kim directly, saying it's been a long time since they last met. The tension is thick. The guy's got this cold smirk and expects Dokja to react. However, Dokja just tasks unimpressed and clearly isn't buying whatever this is. The room is filled with murmurs as everyone reacts to the showdown brewing between these two. And honestly, the way he's looking at Dokja, this is about to get real. The atmosphere is charged, everyone's watching, and you can just feel a massive clash coming. Persephone casually asks Dokja how he's been, but immediately drops a bomb. She knows he did something in Tardaris. A woman with dark hair laughs, and it's super unsettling, like, what does she know exactly? Uriel, this golden god dude, is lounging around looking all dramatic and brooding, honestly. He's practically draped across a table, and it's giving major spoiled royalty vibes. Uriel gives a pointed look and someone whispers about him always being like this. What a mood. This guy in the suit is staring at Uriel, and he's clearly judging the entire situation. Persephone stands calmly, declaring that at the center of everything is her. The setup for a fancy dinner is on display, but it feels less celebration and more trap right now. The guy in the suit turns his back, and you just know something big is about to happen. Uriel's got that smug look again. This dude is definitely the villain of this arc. Uriel casually points out Eden is to the south, and this guy in the suit is immediately like, oh, wings, easy to spot. But hold up, the suit dude zeroes in on a blonde angel and his brain short circuits. An angel in black. He's spiraling, questioning why she's dressed like the devil, and honestly, same question, bro. This angel though, she's giving off serious I know something you don't vibes with that smirk. The suit dude's internal monologue is on fire. He's realizing this isn't a normal angel, and it's freaking him out. Suddenly, the queen of the underworld wants to ask him a question, and the tension is thick. He asks if a certain constellation being here means she's here, and the queen doesn't even flinch. She's ice cold. The queen just casually asks what he wants to know, but you can tell this is a power play, no way. Uriel's still lounging, looking smug, and this whole scene is just unsettling, honestly. But the angel in black, she's radiating dark energy, and it's clear she's the key to everything. Okay, so the suit dude's freaking out. He recognizes the constellation as secretive plotter, and it clicks. Suddenly, everything shifts to this insane, starry scene, and a shadowy figure starts forming. It's intense. This shadowy figure is huge, all sharp angles and dark energy, and it's radiating power, no doubt. A little puppy wearing a suit announces story succession will now be taking place. What does that even mean? Uriel orders everyone, all the incarnations, to move to the secret room, and things are escalating fast. Everyone starts walking down this long hallway lined with ornate cabinets, but they are glowing with energy. One of the incarnations touches a cabinet, and sparks fly. It's clearly some kind of test or trap. They keep walking, and more cabinets light up, creating this crazy gauntlet of energy. Another incarnation gets zapped. This hallway is seriously dangerous, and it's all about to pop off. The suit dude is back, and he's murmuring secretive plotter. Again, this guy is obsessed with that constellation. Persephone admits she doesn't know something. Huge reveal, and the shadowy figure starts laying down some serious exposition. Apparently, story succession is about to begin, and tons of constellations want to use our boy's reincarnation. Wild. But Persephone shuts it down, saying they'll all decline. She's got a plan, and honestly, we love to see it. She explains that these constellations will try to claim copyright over his story, which is a new one, even for this crazy world. The suit dude is confused about copyrighting a story, and the shadowy figure explains they'll claim it as their own. This is getting intense. The shadowy figure warns it'll be quite troublesome to deal with these constellations. Suit dude finally asks the question we're all thinking. Is she trying to get him to join Olympus? Persephone straight up confirms it, revealing she and Olympus had a seriously hostile relationship in a previous world. She's got a history with these guys, and it sounds like she really hates them. She wants them to suffer. In the final beat, she's plotting revenge, and honestly, this is the energy we needed. Okay, so this dude realizes everyone is actually afraid of Hades. No wonder he's so powerful. He thinks he accidentally got protected by the underworld, which is a whole situation. He's trying to open a door and it creaks open, super ominous, right? Apparently, incarnations are secretly contacting constellations in their rooms, whatever that means. They're talking about announcing conditions and succeeding on the podium. Sounds like a power play. Suit dude says he'll see the other guy later, but his smile is way too creepy, honestly. Close up on his face, and this dude is straight up plotting something. Major villain vibes. The door slams shut, and it's a dramatic red-tinted moment. Talk about a cliffhanger. He clicks the door shut, sealing whatever's happening inside, and things are definitely about to escalate. Okay, so this mysterious figure isn't interested in making a deal for Bacchus, a major power move right off the bat. He's also not here to claim the rights to the resurrection story, which is weird because why bother showing up at all? This dude is straight up apologizing, but then drops a bomb. He knows the story of Lightning Carnival. But here's the twist: Lightning Carnival isn't just any story, it belongs to Zeus, one of the big three gods. The figure confirms what we suspect. This story is on a different level than the other reincarnation offers. Our boy is about to gain the qualification to succeed Lightning Carnival. No way, that's huge. However, he could take over the story of the blind prophet, but this figure says he won't. And it all comes down to fate. Apparently, the three goddesses of fate themselves have seen a fragment of his future. They've seen he'll qualify for Lightning Carnival, making him a major player in this whole mess. Honestly, this is getting intense because the stakes just went from high to astronomical. Okay, so the figure warns our boy he'll need Olympus in the near future, and it's super ominous. He tells him to think about it until they meet again, totally setting up a future showdown, right? Then bam, this dude slams his hands on the desk, clearly rattled by whatever's going on. He starts questioning why this story, why Olympus, why all the nebulous connections. He's trying to piece it together. He realizes all the stories they've been talking about are concerning, and he's seriously worried now. Suddenly, a voice calls out hello, and our boy's eyes widen. Something's definitely happening. He's staring at a massive door, and a feather floats down, hinting at something godly about to happen. The door swings open, bathed in golden light, and our boy is completely captivated by what he sees. But then another figure peeks around the corner, a blonde with piercing green eyes, and honestly, this is a cliffhanger. This new character looks intense, and we're left wondering what role they'll play in all of this chaos. Uriel, this blonde bombshell, straight up asks Dokja if he's disappointed to see her. Talk about a power move. She's rocking a super dramatic, almost gothic dress and isn't afraid to show off those bare feet, which is a choice. Uriel's eyes are intense, like she's sizing Dokja up, and honestly, it's a little unsettling. No hesitation, she lunges forward, wrapping her arms around Dokja in a tight hug, completely catching him off guard. She reveals she's been waiting to see him, and Dokja looks absolutely bewildered by this sudden affection. Uriel buries her face in his shoulder, and Dokja is clearly questioning all of his life choices right now. She's rubbing her cheek against him, and Dokja's face is a mix of confusion and, is that annoyance? But then Uriel steps back and flashes a huge, almost predatory smile. This is getting weird. Dokja's eyes widen as Uriel declares it's great. She's definitely playing some kind of game. This entire interaction is throwing Dokja for a loop, and we're left wondering what Uriel's real intentions are. Uriel lays it on thick, saying Dokja must be so good-looking that's why she came. Talk about a line. She wants Dokja to accept Eden's story, and he's playing it cool, saying he needs to think about it. Uriel explodes, insisting their story is the best and no other even compares. She's intense, bro. Dokja is genuinely surprised, like, wait, is this actually working? It's kinda hilarious. But then she drops a bomb. Metatron threatened to ban her from the internet for a month if she doesn't get Dokja on board. Uriel's spiraling, realizing if Dokja joins her side, he'll become a eunuch, and that's a problem. She desperately tries to backtrack, suggesting they find another arrangement, some alternative solution. Dokja asks what arrangement even means, and Uriel blurts out she'll make sure he doesn't become a eunuch. She's all over him, promising they'll find a way, while Dokja is just shaking his head, totally overwhelmed. Uriel is throwing everything at Dokja, and honestly, our boy looks like he needs an escape plan, stat. Dokja straight up ignores Uriel's desperation and declares next, cold-blooded, I tell ya. A flash of blue energy erupts and Dokja's body vanishes, teleported somewhere new, no way. We see Dokja standing in a lavish room, looking around like, where am I now? A mysterious figure approaches, and Dokja learns he's been visited by other nebulae after Uriel. Dokja extends his hand and a shadowy force begins to coalesce. This dude is gathering power. The room is decorated with star patterns, and another figure appears, seemingly offering support. Dokja is shown a banknote with his sun sin on it, and someone tells him the historical constellations of Korea offer encouragement. They proclaim Dokja is the last hope for their world. The pressure is on, bro. A knight on horseback appears and a voice booms, telling Dokja to never bend his will. Epic. Finally, the results of the succession are announced, and Selena Kim is named first. But what does this mean? Selena Kim chose Olympus as expected, and the room erupts in cheers and roars. Talk about a power move. But hold up, Selena's got this intense look, declaring she's received the indomitable aegis from the constellation. What does that mean? She's flexing on everyone, and it's clear she's got a serious advantage now, though it's still unclear what this aegis does. However, Selena claims she's the last hope for their world, and honestly, the pressure on this woman is insane. Okay, so these powerful constellations are straight up buying stories from people like life stories for power. But it's messed up because the higher-ranked constellations look down on the independent ones. It's all about status. This dude, Kim Dokja, decides to make things unfair and proposes a deal to Yook and someone else. He's offering to sell their stories, which is a bold move, and the other guy is clearly shocked. And honestly, that grin on Yook's face is not reassuring, it's pure menace. He wants a deal with the Nebula, which is basically the biggest power player in this world, no way. Suddenly, a message pops up, it's Yook, demanding to know what Dokja is even doing. Dokja is totally caught off guard by the message, and he's reeling from whatever just happened. However, the other guy steps forward, looking serious and definitely not amused by this whole situation. This is getting intense, bro, and I have a feeling Dokja just poked a really dangerous bear. Dokja drops a bomb. Yook can't succeed in any of the constellation stories, straight up revealing he knows the original novel. But Yook isn't fazed, he's just intensely staring at Dokja, and Dokja's getting seriously creeped out. Dokja claims it's a good offer, highlighting Yoon Yeok's inability to complete stories, but bro, that's a risky play. Yoon Yeok is demanding answers, wanting to know how Dokja knows so much, and honestly, the tension is thick. Dokja lays it all out. Yoon Yeok has the ability to rewind time through death, a major power, but however, there's a catch. That power prevents him from completing any constellation stories, which is a huge limitation. He points out Yoon Yeok's story is predetermined in the original novel, and it's a total power move, putting everyone on edge. Someone else steps in, questioning if Dokja is telling the truth and demanding to know if these two are planning a new nebula. The other guy is begging Yoon Yeok to reconsider, but our boy's face is unreadable and the suspense is killing me. Yoon Yeok just stares, giving absolutely nothing away. This dude is a master of the silent treatment. Yoon Yeok bursts out laughing, a seriously unsettling sound, and declares Dokja's gone and done it now. Dokja recoils, clearly rattled, as the entire hall seems to shift and warp around them. Yoon Yeok, lounging back, casually admits she likes Dokja, which is a choice, honestly. Nebula and Gyeok are straight up disappointed, and Gyeok publicly voices his contempt for Dokja. Someone named Nebula is furious, shouting about how Dokja and Yoon Yeok haven't even reached the state of constellation. Nebula continues, questioning how they could even start their own nebula, and Dokja is getting all the heat. Nebula insists it's impossible for anyone to just form a nebula whenever they want. It's not that simple. Dokja and another dude are locked in a tense stare-down, and the atmosphere is thick with hostility. This dude is convinced Dokja is playing some kind of game, and honestly, he's not wrong. Dokja just stands there, his expression unreadable, while everyone else is losing their minds. Okay, so Dokja just breaks the throne, the one holding divine power, and absolute chaos erupts. Everyone is murmuring, completely stunned, while a tiny Yoon Yeok takes the stage and starts announcing something. She declares a new story has begun. The king of the world without a king. Talk about a power move. The hall starts to crack and fall apart as the story shifts, and it's seriously intense. A message flashes, the fable, the one who fought against a miracle, and Nebula and Gyeok are losing it. They're demanding to know how Dokja created a new story, and if he's somehow formed a nebula. Gyeok's convinced this is some kind of game, and honestly, he's probably right about that. But Dokja's just standing there completely unfazed while everyone else is spiraling. Nebula and Gyeok are completely floored, questioning how this is even possible. Another message appears, the story, the king of the world without a king, has been created, and things are about to get wild. Okay, so the screen switches to another story, the one who scorned a storyteller, and everyone is confused. But it quickly goes sideways, a totally different, chaotic scene starts playing, and it's intense. No way, the video shows someone getting absolutely wrecked in a destroyed castle, and it's brutal. Gyeok and Nebula are freaking out, demanding to know what's happening, while a tiny figure is tossed around. The man in the suit realizes they've accidentally played the wrong story, and is trying to play it cool. However, someone shouts that this story was also registered, meaning Dokja somehow made another one. This dude is straight up laughing, calling the person on screen crazy, and honestly, he's not wrong. The video shifts again to the king who hunted the king of catastrophes. What is even going on? More chaos unfolds, with a figure launching toward another in a purple blast, and the sound effects are wild. And just when you think it's over, another story begins. It's a never-ending loop of madness. Okay, so Dokja has officially established 4 legendary stories. It's happening fast. The star stream is straight up acknowledging his accomplishments, showering him with notifications. Everyone in the room is losing it, realizing he's accumulating these stories at an insane rate. They're freaking out because he's on track to become a constellation before the 10th scenario even ends. But hold up, apparently the system registered even more stories, making things even crazier. Dokja's just standing there cool as a cucumber while everyone else spirals. This dude is seriously on another level. He's about to become a constellation, and he knows it. Okay, so Goryeo's top swordsman, a total legend, is offering his support to Dokja. Our boy is getting some serious backup. And boom, the star stream acknowledges Dokja's accomplishments, sending a notification that's like a huge deal. But wait, this dude is suddenly getting a really bad feeling, staring off into the distance with a serious look. He's totally suspicious, and you can see it in his eyes. Something's definitely up, and he's picking up on it. Everyone around him is murmuring, sensing the tension, and honestly, it's super unsettling. Then, out of nowhere, Goryeo's top swordsman shows up, grinning like he's about to cause some chaos. People are straight up freaking out, realizing who just walked in. This is not good for Dokja, trust me. The murmurs are getting louder, and the atmosphere is thick with dread. This dude is clearly trouble. More murmuring as everyone realizes the gravity of the situation and what this swordsman's appearance means. However, it seems like the swordsman isn't here to help, but to cause problems, and Dokja knows it. Someone, a secretive plotter, is suddenly backing Dokja, and Goryeo's top swordsman is not happy about it. A notification pops up, straight up announcing the support, and Dokja is visibly confused. He's trying to process what's happening, asking who this secretive plotter even is. Then Dokja gains the ability to temporarily create a nebula. No way, this is getting wild. But the candles around them suddenly burst into flames. Something is definitely triggering this. It's a chaotic scene as the flames spread, and Dokja is clearly on high alert now. He's desperately trying to figure out where the other constellations are, sensing something big is about to go down. Dokja's nebula power is surging, and he's clearly bracing for whatever's coming next. This dude is about to unleash the nebula. It's going to be a massive showdown, I can feel it. Dokja unleashes the nebula, and it's huge. A swirling vortex of power erupts around him. But the energy is off the charts, and Dokja realizes this isn't just any power, it's otherworldly. He straight up declares it's the energy of another world god, and everyone is stunned. No time to breathe. The room begins to shatter, and crazy tendrils of energy start whipping around, threatening to destroy everything. Dokja's trying to hold it all together, but this power is too much, and the scene is pure chaos. The swordsman steps forward, and his face is a mask of fury. He's not happy about this at all. He shouts at Dokja, demanding to know how he dares set foot in this sacred place. Talk about dramatic. But Dokja doesn't even flinch. He's focused on containing the power, and honestly, good for him. The energy intensifies, the tendrils become more violent, and the whole place is on the verge of collapsing. Everything is swirling, the power is surging, and it's clear this is a battle for more than just survival. The swordsman and another guy are straight up questioning Dokja, like, how dare he not get an invite? But Dokja's mind is elsewhere. He's realizing this energy isn't just powerful, it's a god's power. The energy is going wild, and it's forming this insane, monstrous shape with rows of teeth. It's a full-on attack, and it's aimed at the door to the cathedral. No way. Dokja's getting visions, flashes of someone reaching for him, and it's intense. He's trying to shield someone, grabbing their hand, but the energy is surging through them both. We see a woman with wings looking shocked. She's caught in the chaos for sure. Dokja's allies are trying to figure things out, but honestly, they're just as lost as we are. The energy is glitching everything, and the message, "Did you not invite us?" flashes creepy. Dokja's eyes are glowing, and he's bracing for impact. This is about to get real messy. Dokja yells for everyone to retreat, but it's too late. A massive force is launching them all backwards. A blonde woman with green eyes is grinning, like she knew this would happen. Creepy vibes, seriously. She whips around, unleashing a flurry of attacks with her hair. It's like weaponized braids, no way. Dokja and another dude in a suit are blasted away, dodging the insane hair assault. It's a total whirlwind. But wait, this isn't just random. A monstrous, multi-eyed entity appears, and it's huge, looming over everyone. The monsters form glitches, pixelating and distorting, and a message flashes. The otherworld gods are looking at you. It's a visual nightmare. The monster's eyes are everywhere, and the screen is breaking apart with glitches. Dokja's allies are reeling, trying to process what's happening, but honestly, they're completely overwhelmed. Monster's hair-like tendrils lash out, and it's clear this isn't just a fight, it's a divine intervention. Everything is chaotic and glitching, but Dokja is standing firm, bracing himself against the onslaught. Our boy is ready. Dokja unleashes a golden aura, straight up exploding with power. It's a massive energy release. The monster tries to absorb Dokja's energy, but it's like hitting a brick wall. This dude is resisting. The voice wonders if Dokja is a bug in the system, something that shouldn't exist, but it's a total mystery. 4 lines of code flash on the screen, and the voice questions if Dokja is the author. The voice finishes the thought, could Dokja be the one writing the story? No way. The monster, now totally freaking out, realizes Dokja isn't a character. He's the one who knows the story, and that changes everything. Okay, so things are intense. This girl is straight up losing it, freaking out about Dokja, but she's also kinda fascinated. She's clutching her arm like she's hurt, and her grip is tight. Something's definitely wrong with this situation. They're huddled together and she's rambling about how everyone calls Dokja ugly. No way she doesn't get why. This other dude is clearly disturbed, saying everyone calls him ugly and looks totally broken up about it. But she doubles down, insisting she doesn't understand why people think he's so ugly, which is a choice. The group is all cramped up and you can tell tension is building, like a bomb about to drop. Someone starts analyzing Dokja's face, saying his eyes and nose are blurry, trying to pinpoint the ugliness. Another guy jumps in, claiming it's the combination of features that makes him ugly and honestly rude. She suddenly remembers everyone's been trash-talking Dokja for ages, like it's a constant chant, which is messed up. And then this other dude speaks up. He's got a whole cloudy aura and starts giving his unsolicited opinion on Dokja's looks. She's spiraling, unable to remember what Dokja even looked like, and starts questioning everything. She claims she was just acting sad at his funeral for the constellation's coins, but another dude calls her out on it. Flashback, we see her and others mourning, and it's super sus. She's clearly faking it for rewards. Suddenly, a message pops up. The constellations are questioning if her grief was really an act. Oh, this is getting good. She reveals she wanted to get payback on Dokja and asks if he thought she was helpful, but it sounds way more sinister. We cut to a flashback of her grabbing Dokja's arm, looking intense. She's definitely planning something. Another flashback shows her holding a knife, and honestly, this is a huge red flag. She's telling someone to take Dokja and run when she gives the signal, and the other dude just looks terrified. She orders him to just do as she says, and the sound effect Shing makes it clear this is about to go down. But then a message appears saying magic barrier breached in 1 minute. No time to waste. Dokja's moving fast, dodging energy blasts and pulling Yujung along with him. It's a full-on escape. That monster dude is huge and angry, roaring about doing this for us. Who us even is a mystery. Dokja's dragging Yujung, shouting okay. They're pushing themselves hard, but it's looking rough. The monster yells at someone to hang in there, but looks seriously messed up, covered in blood and stuff. More energy blasts fly, and Dokja's clearly using some kind of power to shield them. Sparks are flying everywhere. Dokja's getting tossed around like a rag doll, seriously injured and struggling to keep moving. It's brutal. Everything goes black again, and honestly, it's starting to feel like a bad omen. Yujung's face is covered in blood. She's coughing, and she thinks this might be the end, Nuo. But she's not giving up. She's muttering about how she fought pretty hard. Our girl has some spirit. That monster is swinging a sword, and it's a massive, glowing blade aimed right at Yujung. He's moving so fast, a whirlwind of motion, but Dokja throws himself in front of the attack. Dokja takes the hit, shielding Yujung, and it looks painful. He's a total hero, risking everything. However, even injured, Dokja manages a weak smile. This dude is seriously unshakable. Dokja's desperately clinging to life, muttering he just wants to live. It's heartbreaking, honestly. He's clutching his side, soaked in blood, but Yujung is hurt even worse. This is a disaster. Wait a minute, Dokja thinks he's been through this before. What does that even mean? He sees a figure in the distance, a man standing in the ruins, and it's triggering some kind of memory. Dokja's face is wrecked with pain, tears streaming down. He's reliving something terrible, no doubt. Then, out of nowhere, a massive dark energy explodes around him. What is happening? Dokja's getting completely enveloped, the energy swirling around him like a vortex. It's intense. A huge blade swings down, aiming right for him, and it's a straight-up slash. No time to react. Dokja throws himself forward, trying to defend, but the attack connects. It's brutal and fast. But this dude isn't going down. He's fighting back with everything he's got. Our boy is a beast. Dokja lets out a roar, swinging his sword wildly, but the enemy's attack is relentless. It's a total bloodbath. He stumbles, a blade narrowly missing him, and he's forced to take a desperate step back. It's so close. The enemy's sword comes down again, faster this time, and Dokja barely manages to raise his arm to block. Ouch. The force of the blow sends Dokja flying and he crashes to the ground, injured and bleeding. This is bad, really bad. But he's not staying down. Dokja scrambles to his feet, ignoring the pain, and launches another attack. He leaps forward, sword aims true, but the enemy anticipates it and deflects the blow. It's a clash of titans. Dokja's vision blurs, he's exhausted and losing blood, but he presses on, determined to survive. What a fighter. He struck again, a painful blow to the face, and he stumbles. This dude is taking a beating. Dokja collapses, completely spent, and whispers a single word. Oh, it's heartbreaking, honestly. He's utterly defeated, but a tiny spark of hope remains in his eyes. No way, this is the end, right? Dokja's mumbling something, but it's muffled. Everyone's straining to hear what he's saying. He can't make out the words, and it's super frustrating, like, what crucial info is he trying to share? Okay, so things are intense. Yu Young-hyuk is going absolutely ballistic, straight up slaughtering demons left and right. He's clearing out the battlefield with insane speed, but our boy Dokja is seriously questioning what he's about to do with this power. Young-hyuk is losing it, tears streaming down his face, but he's still fighting like a madman. It's kinda terrifying, honestly. He's rising up, becoming a total monster, and the other characters are starting to freak out about Dokja's plan. Everyone's realizing just how strong Young-hyuk is. He's wiping out every demon in the area without even breaking a sweat. They're wondering if Dokja is actually going to use this dude, and honestly, it's a valid concern. Dokja is straight up disgusted, yelling about main character bullshit while getting slammed around. He's declaring the demons aren't the real problem and is stepping forward despite being totally wrecked. What a mood. Young-hyuk stomps down and reveals the biggest twist. He is the demon and a major player in all this. And then the ultimate betrayal. Young-hyuk asks if these are Dokja's creations, implying he's taking them back. No way. Young-hyuk is threatening to kill everyone and keep their skills. Talk about a power move. He claims killing him would be a loss for Dokja, and honestly, that's a little unsettling. This dude is straight up furious, yelling about how Young-hyuk is stronger despite being lower ranked. Young-hyuk remains silent, but the system message confirms he's definitely not happy about this outburst. He's taken his sister upstairs, and Dokja's crew is scrambling to figure out what's happening. Dokja's completely lost. He's wondering where Young-hyuk is going with all this craziness. Young-hyuk snatched all of Dokja's evidence, and now he has to rebuild everything from scratch. This dude is devastated, but he's trying to stay focused on the bigger picture. It's intense. Our boy is facing down the aftermath, staring at the blood. It's a grim scene, honestly. And now we're back to the main scenario, but something tells me things are about to get even wilder. Everyone's already made it to the second floor, apparently working together. That's a relief, honestly. MS Han is looking rough, covered in what looks like demon goo, but she insists it's just a minor injury. Someone spots Hyun-seong, and suddenly everyone's wondering where the rest of Dokja's group is. Hyun-seong explains they entered the labyrinth too, but the question is why he showed up specifically. He confirms Dokja's friends are with him, and then a whole crowd of people appears out of nowhere. This dude is losing it, asking what happened to MS Han. She's definitely seen some stuff. MS Han says she fought demons, but the crowd is trying to pull Dokja's friends away. No way. They're yelling at everyone to stay away from her and come with them, which is super sus. Hyun-seong is trying to reassure everyone that MS Han is okay, but this situation is spiraling fast. He's pointing out that seeing Hyun-seong here means Dokja's friends must be with him. It's a logical deduction. Okay, so Hyun-seong is desperately trying to explain that Dokja's friends are with him, but this crowd is not listening. MS Han straight up tells Hyun-seong that the scars on the others aren't from demons. That's a huge red flag. Someone shouts that they are the ones who should be trusted, but Hyun-seong is calling BS. This is getting intense. Hyun-seong is all you can't trust anyone in a world like this. Preach, bro, preach. Suddenly, Hyun-seong's eyes glow purple and he activates some kind of skill. Search attribute. What is going on? He says he didn't know Dokja was playing for the other team, and the tone is menacing, to say the least. The crowd is now whispering that they are all being tricked, and Hyun-seong looks totally unbothered. The crowd starts to close in, and MS Han visibly flinches. She knows something's off. Hyun-seong's group is getting surrounded, and honestly, this whole situation feels like a trap. But then someone yells it's them, and the crowd surges forward, pointing at someone. Someone shouts that these men are tricking a naive young man, and it's enough to shift the crowd's attention. MS Han immediately yells that's a lie, claiming they're the ones doing the deceiving. No way. Hyun-seon's like, if you keep hanging around these guys, they'll drain all your energy. A pretty solid warning. The man in the blue jacket is shocked. He's clearly starting to question everything. Hyun-seon's group is getting cornered, and the crowd is seriously closing in on them. This is bad. Hyun-seon lays down the truth. These people use disguises and charm to exploit powerful incarnations. But it gets worse, they also kill anyone weaker than them straight up. These guys are brutal. This dude is ranting about how lying to take advantage of others is common in this world. TWSA, it's harsh. He says there are even worse people out there, and it's clear he's trying to make a point. Our boy thinks these men might not be irredeemable, and it's a thought Dokja probably shared. People are screaming for Hyun-seon to save them, and the man in the blue jacket is desperately reaching for him. Suddenly, another figure appears. A creepy dude asks if they want to see something good, and it's seriously unsettling. 3 identical women jump down from the rooftops, grinning like they're about to cause some serious trouble. The man in blue looks up, shocked, as one of the women lands right in front of him. Talk about a surprise attack. Hyun-seon is clearly confused by this whole situation, but honestly, he looks ready to throw hands. Okay, so things are wild right now. Someone straight up tries to assault Hyun-seon, but he yells it's sexual harassment. Dokja shows up looking serious and pointing like, what are you doing? Thank goodness for the save. The attacker is all smug, claiming this isn't even his real body. What is happening? Hyun-seon is absolutely terrified, shaking so much the system is literally registering it. Dokja asks if he's okay, and Hyun-seon just blurts out Dokja. He's clearly a mess. Dokja gets right up in the attacker's face, demanding to know what he's doing there. Hyun-seon is freaking out, convinced he's about to die. This dude is a drama queen, honestly. He's rambling about Steel Blade's weakness, but Dokja cuts him off, saying this is different. Dokja's worried Hyun-seon will end up walking the eunuch's path again, and Hyun-seon just wants to leave. Hyun-seon is clearly panicking, but Dokja seems to be piecing things together. It's about to go down. Okay, so this woman, Yeonaseo, is walking through this creepy church, waving like it's no big deal. Someone asks her name, but she gives a fake one, and then gets pressed for her real name. She finally spills it, Yeonpo Kim, but wait, that name rings a bell and not a good one. Turns out Yeonpo Kim is a big deal, a member of this notorious group called the Pinkies, and someone is hyped to find her. She's with a man who looks super stressed, and honestly, he's clearly being used as a shield. Someone asks why they spared a guy, thinking the Pinkies are all bad news, but it's complicated. Apparently, this Yeonpo Kim died before becoming a villain. No way, he was a good guy first. This dude, Young-hyuk, is taking the blame for everything, saying he messed up. Classic. So Yeonpo Kim was a genuinely good person, and he was the first to die among the Pinkies. Tragic backstory. Another guy is confused, asking what they're even talking about, but it's a setup. This is getting intense. Dokja reveals he figured out how to kill the insects by stepping on them seriously. Hyun-seon asks what they're going to do now, but Dokja's already got a plan. Beat this scenario. Dokja drops a bomb. This is the last scenario before the Seoul Dome gets liberated. Huge news. We get a glimpse of creepy flying insect creatures swarming around this gothic castle, setting a seriously ominous mood. Dokja confidently says the first floor of this place will be a piece of cake, but Hyun-seon isn't buying it. Hyun-seon points out there's more than enough to spare looming, and honestly, she's probably right. A distressed man is being comforted by a woman. Looks like the Pinkies are starting to crack under pressure. The man suddenly collapses and a tiny insect lands on his face, straight up foreshadowing bad things. Just like that, he's dead. No way, this scenario is brutal. Dokja casually states the first floor is easy, but this death is a grim reminder that things are about to get real. Hyun-seon is laying into Dokja, saying he's acting like he knows everything, and honestly, he kinda does. Dokja fires back, saying a top-class author like him would never write such trash, but Hyun-seon isn't impressed. He demands to know why she created this messed-up world, but she just brushes it off. This is getting good. Suddenly, a woman named Sae-young is clinging to someone, begging him to tell her what happened. It's heartbreaking. He insists he didn't do anything, but Sion's losing it, and this dude clearly isn't telling the whole story. Hyunseong is all, how are you supposed to know? And Dokja just drops the truth. Regressors, returnees, reincarnators, it's a whole thing. She's reeling, realizing Dokja knows way more than he lets on. The tension is insane right now. The woman, Sion, is spiraling, and Dokja's suddenly got a vision of a city overrun with monsters. No way. Hyunseong declares the constellations still crave sensational stories, and we see a full-blown monster invasion happening. Dokja confidently states the first floor will be easy, but Hyunseong calls him out. This scenario is seriously dangerous. Saiyong straight up asking this dude, the author, how the world ends, and he's looking away. He tries to play it cool, but Saiyong is not buying it. She knows he's hiding something huge. Dokja drops a bomb. He knows about regressors, returners, and reincarnators, messing with everyone's heads. Saiyong realizes Dokja knows way too much, and a terrifying vision hits him, a city getting wrecked. Hyunseong explains constellations want drama, and bam, the monster invasion is underway. No chill. Dokja confidently says the first floor will be a breeze, but Hyunseong is having none of it, calling him out. She questions why he created this messed up world, but he's deflecting. This is getting intense. He asks why she thinks these scenarios even exist, and the tension is building to a breaking point. Dokja insists he knows how this all ends, but Saiyong is desperately trying to understand why. He's saying, supposing I am the author, and honestly, this dude is playing 4D chess. Okay, so they're staring at this crazy, ornate window, and Dokja's asking the big question, why do scenarios even exist? Hyunseong explains that beings from the star stream have asked this for years, but it's a legit existential crisis for everyone. Then bam, Hyunseong drops the reason. The universe would be a lonely place without these scenarios. She's saying it like it's a cute excuse, but it's kinda dark. Basically, suffering is entertainment for cosmic beings. Hyunseong's detailing this whole concept, and honestly, it sounds like they're all puppets in some messed up show. But Dokja's not letting it slide. He insists he knows how everything ends, and he's ready to play his hand. Okay, so things are bad. This demon is straight up demolishing everything, calling the remaining soldiers insects. The carnage is intense. People are falling left and right, covered in blood. It's a total slaughter. This demon assesses the scene, declaring these soldiers are only as strong as tier 5 demons at best. Harsh. He spots Dokja and Hyunsung and immediately judges Dokja's power as tier 4. Seems like our boy has some potential. The demon realizes Dokja has a supporting constellation, which is a big deal. Basically, someone's backing him up. But then the demon gets hungry. He says Dokja's story might actually be tasty. What is happening? The demon starts interrogating Dokja, demanding to know where he's from. Real smooth, buddy. Dokja tries to play it cool, but the demon sees right through him, claiming he's met people like Dokja before. The demon goes for Dokja and Hyunsung yells ack. It looks like things are about to get messy. Hyunsung shouts wait, but it's too late. The demon is closing in and the panel cuts to black. No way. Dokja boldly declares they're from Earth, and the dragon demon is immediately skeptical. Demon demands to know what Dokja means by stories, and Hyunsung nods, confirming it. This demon calls Dokja a little insect who has collected a lot of stories amongst his kind. Rude. Dokja, clearly injured, asks what the demon means by stories, and the demon looms over him. The demon repeats his question, who among you? And the pressure is mounting, bro. He's looking for the strongest incarnation, the one with the most accumulated stories. Suddenly, a woman with dark hair steps forward, looking right at the demon. She asks what a scenario is supposed to be, and another woman accuses her of stalling. This other woman just told her colleague she'll explain later, but honestly, this is a terrible time. So everyone's distracted and Dokja's still reeling, but the demon is clearly zeroed in on something. Someone questions Dokja, asking if he's really a top-class writer. Ouch, harsh. The demon lunges, but a woman kicks it right in the face. Talk about a save. A foot steps down, crushing something on the floor. It's intense, and the demon is reeling. A man in a coat speeds towards the monster, looking straight up furious and powerful. He moves so fast, creating afterimages. This dude is seriously skilled. The demon whimpers as the group moves through the place with ease, thanks to their power. But the constellations aren't happy. Apparently, one thinks it's too easy and the other wants harder challenges. Dokja's getting bombarded with complaints. They complain if it's too easy and too hard, seriously. Another woman is being launched toward the demon, but the man in the coat intercepts her. She asks if they're taking the monster with them, and someone confirms it. This is getting wild. Okay, so this demon is straight up questioning Dokja's sudden power-up. Apparently, he disappeared for a bit. Dokja's all like, I was busy, and congratulates the demon, but it's super backhanded, so shady. The demon brags about someone from his channel becoming a constellation, and honestly, Dokja's unimpressed. Dokja asks about the channel, and the demon says it's doing even better than expected. Suspicious, right? The demon plans to expand the channel, but warns Dokja he's got a ton of enemies now. Classic foreshadowing. The demon reveals Dokja is only a constellation in name, not fully recognized yet, a major setback. Dokja confidently declares he'll win against this incarnation, but the demon isn't so sure. A tense moment. The demon asks what Dokja wants, hinting at a story for a soon-to-be-born her. What does that even mean? A woman's terrified and the demon's about to unleash something big. Things are escalating fast. Dokja's choking on his own confidence. No way this is going to be a simple fight, is it? Dokja tells everyone he'll handle things and straight up leaves them to deal with the aftermath. Someone asks what happened to Seong and Dokja confirms she's gone. It's a grim reveal. Another person says they still have more to do, then points to a body on the floor. Things are getting dark. A woman asks about Gilliam, and Dokja says he needs to find her too, adding to the chaos. Someone asks Dokja what's gotten into Seong, and he looks seriously concerned. Uh-oh. This dude asks Dokja if he can punch him, and Dokja's like, sure, but go easy. What is happening? She winds up and throws a punch, but Dokja barely flinches. He's a tank, seriously. Dokja's arm is bruised, but he insists it still hurts even when she went easy on him. He's hiding something. He just took a punch and is calmly assessing the situation. This dude is on another level. The woman is all beat up, but she's somehow still defiant. She's a fighter for sure. Dokja says he couldn't have saved her and drops a bullet casing, a huge clue. A month later, this casing shows up where he least expects it, and someone asks what's going on. Dokja asks what's up with the question, and the other guy is straight up suspicious. He reveals he's been keeping the casing in his pocket the whole time. That's unsettling. The other guy points out that's a military law violation, but Dokja just confirms it is. Dokja asks why this is being brought up now, and the other guy gives a weird smile. He claims it just popped into his head, but he's looking right at Dokja's head. Red flag. The other guy thinks Dokja doesn't want to chop his head off and keep it as a souvenir. Dokja's just standing there, and honestly, it's super creepy and he's totally playing mind games. This dude is definitely hiding something and we're all on edge. No way this is a coincidence. Okay, so our boy Dokja is getting a message from a constellation lady of the sleeping brigade, and she actually pities him. Can you believe it? Turns out the strongest incarnation in Seoul isn't Dokja, it's Yoonyak, and everyone knows it. Straight up embarrassing. Dokja is reeling because they sent a demon to him instead of you, and he's questioning if this is all some kind of messed up joke. He's straight up spiraling, and the constellation is looking at him with so much sadness it's kinda awkward. The constellation offers Dokja coins if he helps her, but he's not interested in handouts. He wants something useful. And boom, a new bounty scenario drops demon exorcism with a difficulty rating of a plus. No way. The conditions are to defeat Earl Tentasio, and the reward is the trust of Scylla's constellations and a historical grade story. That's huge. Dokja is accepting the bounty, and a holographic screen flashes around him, prepping him for the mission. Here's the rundown. It's a subcategory bounty, meaning it's not main story stuff, but still super dangerous. Seriously, a historical grade story as a reward. That's like the ultimate prize, and Dokja is about to go for it. Okay, so this massive demon, Earl Tentasio, is questioning if Dokja is Yoonyak. Talk about awkward timing. Suddenly, a guy named Dokja bursts in, claiming he'll take care of everything, but Yu is having none of it. Yu straight up refuses to let Dokja handle this alone, and he's looking determined to jump in. Yu throws a punch and it's fast, but the demon just casually swats it away like it's nothing. A bullet casing drops and Dokja's shocked. Yu's packing heat and isn't afraid to use it. Use all like you sure are brave for facing insects, and honestly, the disrespect is real. Demon reveals it loves crushing bugs like Dokja and you, which is unsettling to say the least. We get a close-up of the demon's clawed feet, and it's clear this fight is about to get messy. A weird, smoky energy starts to swirl around the demon, and it's definitely powering up for something big. The demon lunges, and it's a full-on attack, with Dokja and Yu caught right in the path of its claws. Yu declares he succeeded with his story, then straight up threatens to eat Dokja. No way. The demon's mouth opens wide, showing rows of teeth, and he's aiming right for our boy Dokja. Dokja throws a punch, thinking he can stop the attack, but the demon just swats it aside. The demon's claw slams down, and Dokja braces for impact. It's gonna hurt. Suddenly, Yu intervenes, grabbing the demon's arm, but it's like trying to stop a train. The demon's arm cracks under Yu's grip, and the force sends them both flying backwards. Yu crashes to the ground, clearly hurt, and shouts in pain, but he's already getting back up. The demon's arm is seriously messed up, cracking and splintering, but it just keeps coming. Yu grabs the demon again, this time aiming for full-on lock, and honestly, it's desperate. Another crack echoes as Yu tries to hold on, but the demon's strength is overwhelming. This is bad. Yu's still wrestling with the demon, but the floor is cracking under the strain of their fight. Someone shouts that this thing is a tier 3 demon, and it's serious. Apparently, demons of that level have baggage. Yu explains all tier 3 and above demons have their own stories, hinting this isn't just a mindless monster. The demon finally breaks free, sending Yu flying and straight up stomps on the ground. Yu tries to grab the demon again, aiming for a chokehold. It's a risky move, but he's going for it. The demon's mouth opens impossibly wide, revealing rows of terrifying teeth, and he's lunging for Yu. Yu yells in pain as the demon clamps down, but manages to land a hit on its head, sending sparks flying. He's using all his strength, but the demon barely flinches. This thing is a tank, seriously. The demon grabs Yu's arm, and honestly, that looks like it hurts. Yu goes flying again, crashing into debris. This dude is getting tossed around like a rag doll. Yu's still getting pummeled, but he manages to get a sword between the demon's jaws. It's a temporary fix. The demon shrugs off the sword like it's nothing and swings, sending Yu flying again. Ouch, that looked rough. Yu crashes into the other survivors, creating a chaotic pileup, and honestly, they're all messed up. The demon raises a hand and purple energy crackles around it. This is about to get way worse for everyone. He declares it's time for genocide, calling them insects, and bro, the arrogance is real. The demon's face is huge and terrifying, revealing rows of sharp teeth. No way that's natural. It unleashes a massive blast of energy, and the whole place shakes. Boom goes the room. The demon's towering form looms over the injured survivors. They are completely helpless. Yu tries to shield them, but it's clear he's outmatched. This is a desperate gamble. But the demon just laughs, ready to finish them all. This dude is straight up evil. Yu throws himself in front of everyone, taking the brunt of the attack. Our boy is a shield. But the energy blast is overwhelming, and he's getting absolutely wrecked. It's a full-on explosion. He's protecting the others, but it's clear he can't hold on much longer. This dude is pushing his limits. The demon laughs, thinking it's over. However, Yu's eyes glow with a strange power. Something's changing. Okay, so Kim Dokja is leveling up his skills, and it's intense. He can either get stronger or transcend like the returnees. But here's the catch, the max skill level is 10. Seems simple, right? Wrong. This dude straight up hits level 11 with his step skill, and everyone's losing their minds, especially Uriel. Uriel's absolutely furious, and the castle is shaking. It's a full-on power clash between him and Dokja. Dokja's feeling a power that breaks the limits, which is wild, but Uriel is clearly not happy about it. Another dude, Kyejios, realizes just how powerful Dokja is becoming, and it's kinda scary, honestly. Uriel's going ballistic, and Dokja's just standing there, sword glowing, like it's no big deal. Uriel's head starts talking. Yeah, you heard that right, and Dokja's totally unfazed, which is peak confidence. Uriel demands to know what Dokja even is, but our boy just casually says he thought Uriel already knew. This is escalating quickly, bro. Dokja's about to throw down, and Uriel is seriously regretting underestimating him. Uriel's absolutely losing it, demanding to know why Dokja told him his name. It's a big deal, apparently. Someone blurts out that Dokja revealed his name, and Uriel straight up vows Dokja will regret it. Uriel attacks, swinging a blade, but Dokja's ready. He's blocking with a glowing sword, unfazed as usual. Dokja activates a skill, Death Scream, and the castle is instantly flooded with chaotic energy. No way, the skill unleashes a torrent of dark energy, and the castle is getting wrecked. Uriel's caught in the blast, and the whole place is shaking. It's a full-on magical explosion. Dokja announces that Demon Earl Tentasio has spread Yumyuyaku's name throughout the dark castle. Uriel is shocked, clutching his arms. Apparently that name is a huge problem, and he's realizing it now. The energy is surging, and the castle's towers are illuminated with a terrifying red glow. It's intense. But here's the kicker, the whole castle is now reacting to Dokja's name like it's awakened something. The entire dark castle is now hostile towards Dokja. Every single ranker wants a piece of him, no joke. But it's not just the rankers, it's the castle itself. The walls are cracking and everything is falling apart. This dude is straight up roaring and the whole castle trembles. It's like a primal scream of power. The camera zooms in on his face and honestly, it's chilling, pure, unadulterated rage and power. He's got a huge gash on his face, and for a second we see the normal Dokja underneath. It's a quick flash. But then he's back to being the monstrous incarnation, and he's looking down at someone or something. We see a guy in a coat looking up, clearly shocked. He didn't see this coming, and honestly, who would? This guy's pants are ripped, and he's looking at a massive bloody claw mark. Little bad for him, seriously. However, Dokja just casually says, but still, bro is unfazed, even while unleashing absolute chaos. Dokja's crushing someone's hand with a ring. It's brutal, but he doesn't even flinch. He's laying down some serious rules. To get to the 3rd floor, he needs to save the 4 heavenly kings first. Our boy needs the top rankers on his side, which means he's playing a dangerous game. But there's a massive problem. One of the 10 evils is already on the 2nd floor, and Dokja knows fighting him is a bad idea. He's calculating how much time he has left, realizing if he keeps collecting stories at this rate, he's got 4 days. Someone is spreading Dokja's name with the Death Scream skill. That's a huge power-up, no joke. A notification dings. It's official. Dokja's reputation is spreading like wildfire. A ranker is down, completely wrecked, while another runs towards him, clearly terrified. Dokja says the guy didn't have a story, which is a death sentence in this world, straight up chilling. He's just standing there, radiating power, while another ranker flees, and honestly, this dude had it coming. Okay, so Dokja's name is spreading through Dark Castle. Everyone knows it and is wary of him, which is huge. His little sister asks what's going on, and Dokja explains they're getting noticed, but it's kinda unsettling. Turns out Death Scream is a demon skill, and Dokja's confused because he doesn't remember killing anyone who used it. Someone mentions another troublesome figure. Apparently, that ugly man is causing problems again. Dokja's sister asks who he is, and Dokja just gives her a look like, do I have to explain again? The sister straight up calls the guy ugly, no filter, honestly, and Dokja's like, am I the only one who sees this? They're walking, and Dokja tells his sister to be quiet. Something's definitely up ahead, and he's on high alert. A beam of light shoots into the sky, and Dokja's face is all intense. Something major is happening, and he knows it. He's staring, calculating, and it's clear this light means trouble, but he's already planning his next move. Dokja is radiating this I know everything energy, and honestly, it's kinda terrifying, but also awesome. Okay, so someone's using a skill, a powerful one, and Dokja's instantly on guard like he anticipated this. He's apologizing to someone, but it's kinda creepy, and he's clearly using that power to cover his tracks. The guy in the cape is eavesdropping. No way, Dokja calls him out, and it's a tense standoff. Dokja's sister asks what's happening, and he explains the situation. It's getting intense fast. The guy with the cape is all, I didn't mean to, but Dokja isn't buying it for a second. Suddenly, a glowing sphere appears, a historical grade story called Insect Genocide, serious stuff. Dokja absorbs the story, and it's like a power-up moment. He's collecting everything he can. The system explains the rules of Dark Castle. Kill others to steal their stories, which is brutal. Tentasio is eager for this, of course he is, and it's clear he's got a plan. Dokja knows this is bad, and he's preparing for a fight because this whole place is a death trap. Okay, so things are intense. This mysterious woman is straight up crackling with energy, sparks flying everywhere. She's got a serious vibe, cape and all, and she's clearly not messing around in the storm. She finds our boy and another dude and immediately demands his help, but he's not thrilled to see her. This dude, he's all smug and says Dokja will die in this scenario, scoffing like he knows something we don't. But she drops a bomb. Dokja has the power of resurrection. No way, he should be back by now, she says. She clarifies it's not that Dokja isn't coming, but that they haven't met him yet, which is weird. The dude tries to act all superior, but honestly, he's getting outplayed hard right now. The scene shifts and it's all lightning and chaos, but she's warning him if he doesn't do anything. He's standing there totally unfazed amidst the electric storm, and it's honestly kinda terrifying. The energy is building and it feels like something huge is about to go down, but like really huge. Okay, so the mysterious woman asks how he knows Dokja will resurrect, and this dude's all confident. He drops the bomb. He saw it happen, claiming he witnessed Dokja's death firsthand. He spouts some nonsense about a golden castle, and honestly, it sounds like total gibberish. The woman's getting increasingly agitated, demanding to know what this castle even is. He finally explains it's the graveyard of scenarios where failed worlds and stories go to die. Apparently, Dokja is trapped there, and this dude's seen it all before, which is super creepy. But wait, the woman points out that if Dokja's in the graveyard, he should have already appeared. It doesn't add up. She realizes something's off and straight up accuses this dude of hiding something, and the tension is real. He's sweating bullets, looking totally panicked, and asks what she thinks he could possibly have. Okay, so this dude is laying it all out. The threads aren't from Ariadne or Iraq, it's something else entirely. He's pointing to some glowing script swirling around, and it's straight up the prophecy of the constellations. The woman asks if he secretly checked the prophecy, and our boy is getting cornered hard right now. She's got him pinned, demanding to know if he saw the prophecy, and he's trying to play it cool, but failing. She presses him, and he admits he did see it. He knows Dokja's fate, and it's not good. But here's the twist. The woman is already surrounded by the glowing script, and she's realizing it too. She starts freaking out, realizing fate isn't something she can control, and honestly, same. She shouts that she knows now, and it's clear she's piecing together what Dokja's future holds. And then she just stops, staring off into space, totally shell-shocked by what she's seen. This whole scene is wild, bro. This dude thought he was the only one in the know, but she's right there with him. He claims it's not a prediction, but a conclusion drawn from massive amounts of data, basically, a super accurate guess. But then a blinding light erupts, and a voice declares this is the most plausible future. No way. We get a glimpse of this crazy glowing symbol held in a hand, and it's clearly connected to the prophecy. The blonde woman insists the prophecy of Olympus has never been wrong, and begs him to stop Dokja. Suddenly, energy crackles around him and the symbol flares. Something's overloading and fast. A massive surge of power hits him, and the whole place starts to rumble, straight up shaking apart. He's blasted backward, crashing into things, but still tries to stand. This dude is tough. More energy explodes around him, and he's completely engulfed in a blinding light. It's intense. He's jolted with electricity, getting thrown around like a rag doll, and it looks incredibly painful. However, through the chaos, he grits his teeth and pushes himself up again. Our boy is refusing to go down. Okay, so the blonde woman is straight up incinerating everything around them with her power. She's protecting a younger girl, but honestly, this whole situation is spiraling out of control fast. Our boy is taking the brunt of it, getting tossed around like a rag doll. It's brutal, but he's still fighting. He's remembering the prophecy, specifically about Kim Dokja being the incarnation, and it's hitting him hard. But wait, the blonde woman is yelling about how the prophecy has never been wrong and begs him to stop Dokja. Suddenly, the girl cries out. She recognizes the name Kim Dokja and seems genuinely terrified. He's trying to explain it's not a prediction, just a super accurate conclusion, but she isn't listening. Then bam, a massive surge of energy hits him and the whole landscape starts crumbling. No way. He's blasted backwards but pushes through the pain, refusing to fall. This dude has insane willpower. He's still standing, staring off into the distance, and declares this place is huge. What's going on? He realizes they've landed somewhere completely different. It's not like the first floor at all. This place is called the Graveyard of Scenarios by the Docubus, and apparently TWSA mentioned it before. Our boy can't believe he actually made it this far, considering everything that just happened. Wait, a massive ancient being appears, staring down at them with these intense yellow eyes. This dude is clearly powerful and honestly, it's giving off seriously bad vibes, bro.